time for Carolina and Northern Iowa in the first round of the Battle for Atlantis. Jones Angel back in our Tar Heel Sports Network studios. We'll be sending you back to the Bahamas momentarily. Just about time for tip between the Heels and the Panthers. These two do not have a lengthy history with one another. They did play back in the 2015-16 campaign. That was when Carolina was actually number one in the country. You heard Dave talking to Coach Jacobson a little bit about that. And Northern Iowa won the ball game, 71-67 when the Tar Heels were number one. But since then, two other meetings, and it's been all Carolina in both. 85-42 the next year in Chapel Hill, 86-69 the season opener of the 2018 campaign. So this will be the fourth all-time meeting between Carolina and Northern Iowa. We're going to send you to the Bahamas after we break 10 seconds for station identification. Let's do that now. Down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
The lights have dropped here in Nassau, and it's time for our starting lineups as Carolina and Northern Iowa match up. Starting lineups presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, made to chill, an official beer of the North Carolina Tar Heels. First for Northern Iowa, the Panthers come into today's game with the record of 1-2 under head coach Ben Jacobson in his 18th season. Panthers will start a familiar quintet. Nate Heisey is 6'5", 205-pound junior guard out of Lake City, Minnesota, averaging 14.3 points per game. That leads the Panthers through 3 games so far. Also, number 4, Trey Campbell, 6'4", sophomore guard out of Cedar Falls. He's scoring almost 7 points per game on the early season. 11, Jacob Hudson. He's the big man in the middle. He had 14 points on Sunday against South Florida. 6'11", 250-pound junior out of Minnesota. We talked about Bowen Bourne, number 13 in pregame, 5'11", 170-pound junior guard out of Norwalk. Iowa's gotten off to a slow start, only scoring 8 points per game, but he's been under the weather up until now. Coach Jacobson expects him to be 100%. And then number 32, Titan Anderson, a 6'6", 205-pound junior guard out of Eldridge, Iowa. He scored 11 in Tampa against South Florida on Sunday. He's averaging 11.3 to go with almost 5 rebounds per contest. For Carolina, we mentioned earlier, you heard from Jones back in the studio, that the Tar Heels will give Seth Trimble his first start of the season. I think it's his second career start after getting the go-ahead back in January of last year against Notre Dame in what was a Carolina win. Trimble will start alongside Cormac Ryan, R.J. Davis, Armando Baycott, and Harrison Ingram. So, Adam, the Tar Heels off to a 3-0 start. We'll put Paxton Wojcik on the bench to start today's game and give a guy like Seth Trimble his first start of the season.
And a great time to do it because Trimble's coming off a really good performance against UC Riverside. He's been very good at pushing the tempo, which is something Hubert Davis has emphasized here in the preseason. You would think he might get the assignment on Bowen Bourne, who's 5'11", but then you probably got to put R.J. Davis on somebody a little bigger than him, but Bourne probably the most dangerous offensive Panther. So we'll see how Hubert Davis wants to deploy his Tar Heels on defense.
As we close in on the tip-off, time to get back to buzzer beaters, blocks, bounce passes, and most of all, Duncan. Welcome back, Tar Heel fans. America runs on Duncan. Had to get on a plane to fly over part of the ocean, put the white uniforms back on after the Tar Heels were in blue last time out against UC Riverside. Carolina, the home team, with the traditional white uniforms, the Argyle strip down the sides. Northern Iowa, meanwhile, purple uniforms, white lettering and numerals trimmed in gold. So, fourth ever matchup between these two proud programs, Carolina and Northern Iowa. The opening act here, but for us it's the main event and the battle for Atlantis. 3 officials, experienced ones, Gary Maxwell, Ramey Steins, and Marquise Pettigrew. Fans still finding their seats. And a good showing of Carolina fans throughout the Imperial Arena. Adam, you know, when you get to a place like this, you don't have to leave the confines of the resort. It's pretty easy to see who travels and who doesn't.
Carolina's got a good contingent here. All the Tar Heel fans behind the Carolina bench, Northern Iowa fans behind the Northern Iowa bench, and Gary Maxwell's ready to go.
So here we go. Baycott and Hudson to jump at midcourt, and Hudson taps it into the backcourt to Bourne. and Northern Iowa has the ball first, moving from left to right. Into the front court, Anderson near the top of the circle, swings it right side. Bourne on the bounce pass to Hudson. Stripped by Ryan on the way up on the low block, and Carolina comes away with the turnover. Davis front court for the Tar Heels. 20 seconds into the game, no score. Davis rocks it back and forth near the top of the key. Right side, Trimble. Now the Tar Heels reverse it back left to Davis. RJ doesn't use a screen, gives to Ingram, spins on the baseline, pulls up from 6 feet, too strong, gets his own rebound, goes back up, can't get that to fall. There's Bacon on the weak side. He tips it in, and Carolina's got the 2-0 lead.
Great example of what Hubert Davis talks about, going from good to great. Ingram had a 3, passed it up, got a better shot. That led to an easy 2 for Bacon.
2-0 Carolina. Northern Iowa with the ball is Bourne. Drives it inside the arc, right side, feeds it back out to Anderson. With 10 on the shot clock, Hudson lobs it into the post to Anderson, and he lobbed it too tall. It's over the baseline and out of bounds. 2 early turnovers for the Panthers, and Carolina has the ball up 2 with just over a minute gone by. Davis goes front court, bounces it right side to Bacon. Back left to Davis, to Ryan. Almost got hung up in the air. To Ingram, back to Ryan, cutting through the paint. Left the bunny short, and he couldn't save it from going out of bounds. The Tar Heels had a point-blank shot, couldn't finish, and the Panthers get the ball back with 18:38 to play in the first half, trailing 2-0.
Really nice look from Ingram to Ryan. Ryan just couldn't hold on to it. Here I'm back on our end on the defensive end. Tar Heels going to a Trimble on Heisey, and it's Davis on Bowen Bourne.
Tar Heels have had 4 shots already from in tight and lead 2-0. Northern Iowa with the ball. Anderson feeds it left side to Heisey on the drive against Bacon and Trimble. He slipped, lost his footing, and Trimble will take the ball. Trying to launch a pass down court. It's deflected by Anderson. Here it comes to Northern Iowa. Bourne shot fake, and Ryan says no, sir. Sending it across the Tar Heel bench and out of bounds. Oh, boy.
Tar Heels came to defend. First 4 Northern Iowa possessions. Turnover, turnover, turnover. Block that almost took us off the air as Ryan swats it into about the 3rd row.
We're on the baseline here. It's a good thing we're in the first row. Northern Iowa still with the ball just in front of us. Campbell gives to Bourne inside the 3-point arc to Hudson. Floater from 10. Got it, and we're tied 2-all, 2 minutes into the game. Davis spin dribble across the timeline. Bacon comes out to set the high screen. Davis on the drive. Fade away from 8. Spins out, no good. Anderson with the rebound at the free throw line. And Bourne streaking down court on the far sideline for the Panthers. Inside to Anderson. A power dribble as he's double teamed to Hudson outside. Back to Bourne. 17-footer off the side of the backboard. That shot was affected by Ryan. Here come the Tar Heels. 2.5 minutes in, tied at 2, and Ryan draws contact. And that's the first whistle of today's game. It goes against Northern Iowa. It's on Bowen Bourne, Adam, his first and the team's first.
What a nice defensive rotation on that last Northern Iowa possession. As Carolina got kind of caught up in transition, RJ Davis had to pick up Titan Anderson. Cormac Ryan goes out to Bourne. Tar Heels force a bad shot.
Quick inbounds pass to Ryan on the curl from 12. Off the back iron, rebound of the Panthers. 2-2, still our score. 2.5 minutes into the first half, and Campbell has some trouble with the ball. He lost it over the sideline, but it was last touched by Carolina. And the Panthers, for the moment, keep their hands on the ball, something that's been easier said than done.
Northern Iowa can't get what they want on offense right now. Carolina just really defended well. They got to figure out a way the Tar Heels do, put the ball in the basket on the other end.
Inbounds pass to Bourne, matched up with Davis. Back to Hudson. Bacon defends. Hand off to Bourne. Bounce pass back to Hudson. Shot blocked by Trimble. And it's out of bounds. Still Northern Iowa basketball. 11 seconds to shoot. But there's no question, Adam, the tone has been set by Carolina on the defensive end of the floor.
Hudson took a look back. Hudson, 6'11", took a look back at Trimble saying, what's that little guy doing up there with me? And unfortunately right now what he's doing is committing a foul.
Yeah, Campbell bounce pass to Heisey coming down the far side of the lane. He'll lay it up and in and collect the foul. He'll shoot 1. The foul goes against Trimble, his first and the Tar Heels' first. And Northern Iowa for the moment has a 4-2 lead. Heisey's free throw makes it 5-2. He cashes in. He's now 5 out of 7. at the stripe on the year. So the Tar Heels down 3 minutes in. Ingram tries to tie the game with a three-pointer just left of the top of the key, and it's off the mark. Rebound in Northern Iowa. Mismatch here with Bourne rocking it back and forth against Baycott. Long three. That's off the back iron. Rebound to Trimble, who soars in to squeeze the rebound. Heels down 3 with the ball approaching the 16.5-minute mark. Ryan a 3 left side. That's no good. It's halfway down before it's spit back out. And the Panthers come front court leading by 3. Hudson on the give to Heisey, who had the three-point play a moment ago. Outside Anderson driving against Davis. Northern Iowa, some really crisp ball movement as Heisey's left open for 3, and he cans one from the right side. It is 8-2 Northern Iowa. The Panthers on an 8-0 run over the last 140 and change. Now it's the Panthers fans screaming for some defense. They get some. A steal by Campbell. The Tar Heels had him bottled up in the backcourt, so no need for the fast break. The Panthers slowed things down with the ball leading 8-2. Heisey with an early 6 to lead all scores as he drops one off to Hudson. Extra pass to Campbell, lays it in over Baycott on the baseline, and it's a 10-0 run for the Panthers, who lead 10-2.
What a nice pass by Hudson feeding Campbell. Hudson could have taken that up himself. Instead, chose to get an easy layup for his teammate. Carolina
works it around the perimeter. Next whistle's immediate timeout. Davis, step back, long distance Jay, and it just won't fall. Bourne with the rebound for Northern Iowa. It's a 10-2 Panthers lead with inside 15.5 to play in the first stanza from Nassau. Campbell driving right side. Feeds it back out into the left wing. Heisey almost got caught in the corner before the Panthers reversed it to the top of the circle. 10 to shoot. Campbell isolated on Ingram. 5 to shoot. Outside Hudson, shot blocked by Bacon. Bourne, a 30-footer running away, and it's an air ball. Shot clock violation, and that'll take us to an official timeout. It comes with 14:59 to play in the first half. The Tar Heels got this game started off with some great defense, but as of late, the Panthers have been soaring on offense. It's a 10-zip run over the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. It's a 10-2 lead for Northern Iowa from Learfield. 14 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the first half from the Imperial Arena in the battle for Atlantis. Carolina got the game's first bucket, but Northern Iowa's run off 10 straight to lead 10-2. Defense seemed to be the order of the day early, which is always our trusted choice of the game, brought to you by the Trusted Choice Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina, who want you to stay safe behind the wheel. So put down your phone while driving and let's have a hands-free NC. To learn more and find an agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com/Go Heels. So, Adam, after the shot clock violation, Carolina gets the ball. Northern Iowa, it looks like, with some token pressure.
And Carolina's going to put in Elliott Cadeau for Trimble, just trying to create some even better shots. I don't think Carolina's taking bad shots. Cormac Ryan's just feeling it right now. He's 0 for 3 in the game. He's got a turnover. You can tell he's pressing just a little bit. Needs to see one go through the net.
Yeah, Carolina's already had about 3 shots just spin out as Cadeau comes front court for the Tar Heels. Bacot tries to set the screen. Cadeau still on the bounce. One-handed pass into the right corner to Ingram. Driving on Anderson. Gets inside the paint. Spins back towards the backboard and kisses it in. 10-4. The Tar Heels trail by 6. Panthers hustle at front court quickly. That was a man move for Ingram on the interior. 3-point shot from the right wing by Heisey rattles out, and here come the Tar Heels on the break. Into the corner, Ryan on the drive, collected some contact, and he'll be at the free throw line for 2. That's on Duax, who's checked into the game. Michael Duax, a 6'6 sophomore guard out of Dubuque. His first and the team's second. Ryan to shoot 2 for Carolina. He's 6 of 6 on the season.
That's a great way to get going when you're struggling with your shot a little bit. Get to the free throw line where you haven't missed all year.
Make it 7 for 7 for Cormac as the first one rolls in to make it 10-5. Tar Heel fans, Food Line is the proud sponsor of the Score to Give More program. For each free throw the Tar Heels make in today's game, Food Line Feeds will donate 100 meals to a local area food bank. 14:20 to play in the first half. Heels down 5. Ryan at the free throw line for the second of 2. And that rattles in to make it 10-6. The Heels trail by 4 after being down 10-2 out of the first media timeout. Another substitute, R.J. Taylor, on the floor for Northern Iowa, brings it up against Cadeau. Feeds Heisey near the top of the circle. Here's Henry bouncing it back to Heisey, and he charged over the top of Cormac Ryan, who helps Heisey get off the floor and will go the other direction.
Helped him get off the floor with some prejudice. I like the way Cormac Ryan plays. Look, he is not going to put up with your shenanigans. It doesn't matter if his shot is going in or not going in. He drew the charge. Heisey kind of fell on top of him, and Cormac let him know that he was ready to stand up. Heisey needed to move out of the way.
Let us not forget, despite the fact that he started his career at Stanford,
well, I didn't like it
Notre
then.
Dame.
When he did it there, that was annoying. Here, it's fun.
He's a city kid from New York, and you can't take that out of him. As the Tar Heels walking up the floor down 10-6. 6 minutes gone by in the battle for Atlantis. Ingram soars to collect the pass from Cadeau left side. Drives against Landon Wolf. Had the ball knocked away. It comes to Davis. A quick one-hand pass to Withers. A three. And that's good from the right corner. Jalen Withers, instant offense. And the Tar Heels right back in this, down 10-9.
Jalen Withers' first three-point attempt of the year, and it's a make. He was a 42% shooter from three at Louisville last year.
So a bunch of new bodies on the floor after that first official timeout. Here's Taylor navigating his way between the white-clad Tar Heels as he sends it into the near corner in front of us. And Polk looked like he drew some contact against Withers, his first. And the team's second as Jalen Washington checks in for Armando Baycott, who gets a low five from the Tar Heel bench just to our right. Wolf inbound from the baseline just in front of us. Quickly finds Henry on the left wing. Hands to Taylor. It's a 10-9 game. Northern Iowa leads by a point. The Panthers have the ball into the corner right side, and there's another triple. This one goes down for Polk. His sixth three-pointer of the season, and the lead is 4 for the Panthers as Carolina has the ball on offense 7 minutes into today's first half. Both teams going deep on the bench early. Davis with 12 to shoot. 19-footer straight away. Hits off the left side of the iron, and the rebound to Northern Iowa and Cole Henry. Here comes the big man up the floor. Trying to hand to Taylor. Ball deflected, and last touch by Taylor. It's Carolina basketball. There's another forced turnover at him, 30 feet from the basket.
Good play by Cadeau, and I'm not sure why Taylor would just watch that one roll out of bounds. Go pick it up if you're not sure. Marquise Pettigrew was right there saying it had been deflected, and Taylor just watched it roll out of bounds, and the Tar Heels will happily take it.
That's 5 turnovers already committed by Northern Iowa. But the Panthers have the 13-9 lead. Carolina has the ball with 12.5 to play before intermission. Cadeau behind the back, navigating his way through traffic to the basket. Count it, and one.
Ooh, poor R.J. Taylor with the defense on that one, as Cadeau just decided he was going to the basket, and there wasn't a whole lot Taylor could do about it. That was not a complicated play. Tar Heels inbounded at midcourt and say, Elliott, go do it, and he did it, and he's going to get a chance for a free throw to go with it.
Taylor and Davis are of similar build, but Cadeau just muscled his way to the basket and makes it 3 the old-fashioned way with the free throw. Carolina back down by a point, 13-12, and Davis comes off. Wojcik on for the first time today for the Tar Heels, who assert a little full-court pressure of their own. Northern Iowa gets it in to Wolf, hands it back to Taylor. And again, a couple of bigs matched up on one another as Washington hounds the ball near midcourt, and there's a whistle by Gary Maxwell. And Washington, he has come off the bench, animated, excited, and clapping his hands, and he'll get a response from the Tar Heel fans just behind the bench. Good effort.
Man, love seeing that effort from Jalen Washington. Number one, guarding the ball handler, bringing up the court. You don't see many guys who can do that defensively the way Jalen Washington can. And then with the emotion, Hubert Davis has been trying to get Jalen to play a little angrier, a little feistier, and that was plenty feisty out there, scrapping for the loose ball, getting called for the foul, but that's a foul Hubert Davis will take.
Fresh 5 back on the floor for the Panthers. It's the 5 starters. Northern Iowa basketball. Into the front court, 13-12. The Panthers lead, nearing 12 minutes to play in the first half. Campbell driving on Cadeau, kisses it off the window, near side of the lane, and it's 15-12 on the Campbell field goal, his first of the game. The Tar Heels right back down court to Withers. Nice reverse layup. He got caught under the basket, but then flipped it in over his shoulder with the right hand. He's got an early 5, and the Tar Heels trail 15-14. Northern Iowa with the ball. Anderson out on the perimeter to Bourne. Wojcik with a hand in his face. You got to be careful with Bourne once he gets inside the timeline. Another loose ball. This one's deflected out of bounds by Carolina on the far sideline, and that'll take us to another official timeout. It comes with 11:38 to play before intermission. Northern Iowa 15, Carolina 14. This one's feisty, it's salty, it's entertaining early. Heels down a point from Learfield.
Play-by-play coverage of the battle for Atlantis is presented by Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Now back to Paradise Island.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics, believes an inclusive community is a healthy community. Here for the Tar Heels, here for all. We're here for you this week from Atlantis as Carolina makes what's kind of turned out to be a regular trek to this part of the world, Adam. We've been in the battle for Atlantis now 3 times. There have been some summer games put together down here. The Tar Heels, no strangers to Nassau.
7th time overall in the Bahamas, 3rd time in this event. Carolina hadn't won it yet. If they do, it's going to be because of things like Jalen Withers' defensive versatility. We've seen him defending on the perimeter. That last sequence, he was defending 6'11" Caleb Hudson. Got a deflection out near the top, forced Northern Iowa to start over.
And the Tar Heels come out with a trapping half-court defense, down 15-14 with 11.5 to play. And Northern Iowa last to know that the shot clock didn't recycle after the ball was deflected out of bounds. That's a second shot clock violation and a 6th turnover for Northern Iowa. So, Adam, here's a chance for the Tar Heels to go up with the ball down 1, and Ryan off the bench to come in at the next whistle. Cadeau driving it at the free throw line, pulling up and leaving it short. Ball tapped around underneath, and it's Campbell and Anderson winning it for Northern Iowa. To Bourne. Almost 11 to play in the first half. Panthers with the ball up 1. Northern Iowa doing a great job of moving the ball around the perimeter as Bourne lets one fly from 25, and it's off the heel of the rim. Rebound to Ingram, and here he comes up court like a bull in a china shop. Withers comes free. 4-3. It's off the back iron, and Northern Iowa's Nate Heisey skies for the rebound. Panthers dodge a bullet. The Tar Heels had a great look. Heisey on the drive right side. Overhead pass to Anderson. Campbell left side. Cadeau with his hands in his face. 12-footer goes down for Campbell, and he's got 4 in the game. The Panthers lead back to 3. 17-14, Northern Iowa. As Wojcik drives left side with the left hand off the window, and the Heels back to within 1.
Tar Heels starting to heat up a little bit offensively. Points on 3 of the last 6 trips after a long drought.
Midway through the first half, this is where danger struck for the Panthers on Sunday against South Florida. As Heisey drives right side, high off the glass, over the outstretched arms of a couple of Tar Heels. Heisey has an early 8, and the Panthers lead by 3, 19-16, with inside 10 to play in the first stanza. Cadeau chest pass left side to Ingram. Carolina sends it back around into the right corner to Withers. Driving on the baseline. Leaves it for Washington. Had the ball bounce over his head, and it's saved by Hudson. And the Panthers win the turnover.
Everything but the finish. Carolina wants Jalen Washington to grab that ball and dunk it. Anderson
splits a couple of defenders and lays it in from the left block. And he's got his first field goal to make it a 21-16 Northern Iowa lead. Carolina feeds Washington in the post. Turnaround shot from about 8. It's altered, and a good reason why. He was fouled on the way up, and this will give the Tar Heels a chance to send in High, Ryan, Davis, and Baycott.
That segment of the game for Cadeau, we had the pregame question about him, kind of showed the good and the bad. The good, when he takes the ball directly to the rim and gets all the way there, that's a great play. The second shot he took, the kind of mid-range pull-up, 10 seconds into the shot clock, you can get that shot anytime you want it. So swing it around a couple times. If it comes back to you, that's the time to do that. That's something the Tar Heels will talk to Cadeau about as he heads to the bench now.
First free throw good by Washington, who's 7 of 9 on the season. The foul was on Hudson, his first, and the team's 5th. It's a 21-17 Northern Iowa lead. Washington with the second of 2 on the way here momentarily. Gary, Indiana native. This is short off the front iron. There's a whistle, and is it a loose ball foul against Carolina?
Yes.
We're about 100 feet away from that play on the other end of the floor, and Northern Iowa retains possession after the foul was called on Zayden High.
Zayden High like, man, I'm getting in that box score right now.
21-17 Panthers, nearing 9 to play in the first half. Good crossover dribble by Henry, but Baycott knocked it away, and it goes off of Henry's knee, out of bounds over the baseline. It'll give it back to Carolina. So, Adam, there's a 7th turnover by the Panthers. It's amazing to think they've given it away this many times, but still hold a 4-point lead.
Well, and that was the first one that the Carolina defense didn't force. Tar Heels got a break because that could have been a dunk. Instead, it gets kicked out of bounds. The Tar Heels didn't defend that screen very well.
Carolina just 6 of 17 shooting early. As Wojcik gives it to Baycott, who's quickly doubled. Feeds it back out to Ryan. There's another good-looking 3, but it's strong. Fight for the loose ball, and the Panthers come away with it as Henry gives it off to Taylor. Northern Iowa ball up 4. 8:40 to play in the first half. Henry spun around on the low block. No whistle, though, as Baycott bodies him up into the paint. Baycott standing his ground. Pass gets dropped off for Duax. Fadeaway jumper from 8 rolls around, and it looks like maybe one of the Tar Heels affected the shot by grabbing the net, and that's a goaltending call. Duax gets the bucket, his first field goal, and the Panthers' lead goes back up to 6 at 23-17.
I think that was Zayden High up grabbing the net, forcing the goaltend call.
Carolina down 6 with the ball, approaching 8 minutes to play in the first half. Ryan, good bounce pass to Wojcik, to High, and the Tar Heels will get 2 after a couple of good passes. Coach Davis talks about going from good to great. Those 2 extra passes gave High a great opportunity. He'll get 2 at the free throw line.
If you watch this tournament regularly, you know that a lot of times this is a tournament where a lot of players fall. The floor just seems slick all the time. That was a case where Paxton Wojcik goes down. If he doesn't, maybe he finishes that with a layup. Instead, he has to give it off to Zayden High, who makes the first of his 2 free throws. We are in a ballroom, so it's a little different environment than you might have at a normal basketball court somewhere other than in the tropics.
That foul was on Heisey. That's 2 on the junior out of Lake City, Minnesota. 16 fouls against Northern Iowa. High, who just made the first, has his second on the way, and that rolls in to make it 23-19. So High's been active off the bench. Trimble's back on the floor with Davis, Baycott, and Ryan. Carolina defending down 23-19. Henry, big over-the-head pass into the near corner. Back outside to Taylor. Bounce pass to Henry, and he took a couple of steps at the free throw line. Another giveaway by Northern Iowa sends us to an official timeout. 7:59 to play in the first half. 23-19. Northern Iowa with a 4-point lead. But, Adam, how much longer can Northern Iowa continue to turn the ball over and play from ahead?
Tar Heels got to start turning some of these into points. Carolina's got 8 points off of the 8 Northern Iowa turnovers.
Again, 7:59 to play in the first half. Panthers 23, Tar Heels 19 from Learfield. The Good Feet store. Foot, knee, hip, or back pain. Good Feet arch supports are engineered to support all 4 arches to provide pain relief, balance, and comfort. Try them for yourself. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. Dave Nathan, Adam Lucas here in Nassau for Carolina Basketball on a Wednesday afternoon. We've got 7:59 to play in the first half. Northern Iowa leads 23-19. Kind of a mystifying stat with an explanation behind it, Adam. The Tar Heels are being out-rebounded 14-7, but I think the reason why the Tar Heels' rebounding number is so low is that Northern Iowa is not getting as many shots thanks to the 8 turnovers.
Well, that may be, but Hubert Davis said the other night after the Riverside game he didn't care about how many shots, rebounds were available. he wanted Carolina to win the rebounding battle. And quite simply, Carolina's getting doubled up by a Northern Iowa team that shouldn't do that to them. Tar Heels have got to shoot it better. 1 for 7 from 3. Cormac Ryan now 0 for his last 10 from 3. I declare the Cormac Ryan drought over. We're going to sacrifice some conch fritters and peas and rice and plantains and get him on track as he's still out there and was sort of going through his shooting stroke during that stoppage.
Let's find out if the Tar Heels can get back on track as Davis quickly whips a pass to Bacon, drops it in good. There's another and one, and Armando's heading to the charity stripe.
And that's the way to get offense when you're struggling to get offense. Get it to your big guy who's got an advantage down low and just let him work. Kind of rare for Armando, goes ahead and does it on the first shot, doesn't even need the offensive rebound, and he'll get a chance for a free throw to go with it.
Foul on Polk, his first and the team's 7th. Bacon's free throw is good. He's been great at the free throw line this year. 85% on the season as it's a 23-22 Northern Iowa lead after the three-point play. But another quick foul on the attempted inbounds pass by Zayden High. And that is 2 on the freshman out of Rockwell, Texas.
Really like the move by Hubert Davis to turn up the pressure against a team struggling to hold on to the ball.
Duax hands it off to Henry, gives it to Taylor. 7:40 to play in the first half. Heels defending down 1. Duax gets the ball in the curl on the left side. Swings it to Polk. Open 3 with High running at him, and High ran right through him. If nothing else, High's been uber aggressive. In 2 minutes, he's committed 3 fouls, and that's 3 free throws coming up for the Panthers.
Okay, so that's not going on the Zayden High season highlight reel, this sequence that he's had right here as he gets the 3 fouls. The last one, fouling a three-point shooter right in front of the Tar Heel bench. The shot wasn't going to go in. Polk had set a screen, so High had to get back to him to cover the shot, but just gets back too hard, goes into him, and Hubert Davis looked down and goes, "What is Zayden doing?" And the answer is getting ready to come out of the game.
Polk misses his first free throw attempt on the season, so it's still 23-22. Ingram to check in just a sec. Second free throw. Buried by Polk, and here comes Ingram for High, who checks out. Henry off the floor for Northern Iowa. Hudson comes back in as he gets between Bacon and Ryan on the far side of the lane. It's a 24-22 advantage for Northern Iowa, and the third free throw is good for Polk. Give him 5 in the game, and the lead pushed back out to 3 for the Panthers with 7:34 to play in the first half. Taylor defending Davis in the backcourt, and here come the Tar Heels. Trimble, Bacot, Ryan also on the floor, along with Davis and Ingram. RJ at the left elbow, spun around and threw the pass to Coach Davis. Well, in the old days, back in the 80s and 90s, that was usually a pretty good play, but as a head coach, there's not much he can do with it.
Just a miscommunication between R.J. Davis and Cormac Ryan. Cormac broke the other way. R.J. threw it to where he thought he was going, but no one was there.
4th turnover in the game for the Tar Heels. Northern Iowa has it back up 3. Close to 7 minutes to play. First half from Nassau. Duax on the left wing. Trimble defending as he drives it baseline. Lobs a pass to Taylor. Tips it to Duax. And he stepped on the baseline. Another Northern Iowa turnover. There's only so many ways to say it, Adam, but it keeps happening.
Gary Maxwell must be a wizard to have been able to see Taylor step on the sideline over there. Maxwell was on the baseline. Marquise Pettigrew was on the sideline. He saw nothing, but Gary Maxwell heard the Tar Heel bench say, "Hey, wait a second." He said, "Oh, yeah, out of bounds."
The Tar Heels will take it. Inside 7 to play in the first half. Carolina with the ball down 25-22. Ingram spinning on Anderson, who raked him across the wrist. And those are two aggressive big bodies going at one another. Harrison Ingram, 6'7", 235. Titan Anderson, 6'6", 205. Ingram to the stripe for 2.
Love what Harrison Ingram adds to the Carolina offense. There's been times the last couple of years where it's been either Bacot at the rim or someone firing up a 3. Right there you see a great example as Ingram makes the first free throw of being able to get something in between those two areas on the court. Even if you don't get the field goal to the rim, you get a chance to go to the free throw line, where Harrison Ingram came into the game just 4 for 10, but made those 2.
25-24, Carolina down 1. Campbell front court for the Panthers. And the all-purple uniforms here today. Carolina in the home whites. Bourne, who really hasn't been a factor offensively this afternoon, sends it to Anderson with 10 to shoot. Northern Iowa is all out of sorts on this offensive possession. 5 to shoot. Bourne driving against Trimble. Has it miss off the glass. Rebound to Baycott, who leads the breakdown court for Carolina. Flips it to Ingram. Bounce past Davis into the corner. Ingram lets fly. Got it! And Carolina has its first lead in a while of 27-25 with 6:10 to play in the first half from Atlantis.
First Carolina lead since it was 2-0.
Heels fans on their feet. The bench is standing. Pass deflected. It comes back to Campbell for Northern Iowa. Good crisp pass to Duax, driving into the paint. Sends it back out to Campbell. 10 seconds on the shot clock. All kind of defense for Carolina. Hudson sets the high screen for Bourne. 5 on the shot clock. Bourne back to Hudson. 1 to shoot. Duax, did he get it off in time? No, it's a third shot clock violation, and the Tar Heels fired up on the islands.
What a defensive sequence that'll lead to a Northern Iowa timeout from Carolina, as that was just incredible defense from all 5 on the court.
Carolina has forced 10 turnovers and has come back from down 8 to lead by 2, 27-25 with 5:38 to play in the first half. Northern Iowa taking a timeout and needing to find some semblance of offense if they want to stay in this game.
Well, they're going to have to figure out something to do with the way Carolina's switching everything defensively, because Northern Iowa thinks they're going to find some openings, but the Tar Heels aren't bothered by these screens because they just switch them. Because they've got such flexibility throughout the lineup, they're able to do that. They know Hudson is not really a threat to shoot from the perimeter, so they're not guarding him extremely closely out there, but guarding everybody else tightly. And you saw there exactly what Hubert Davis talks about. The bench was more excited for that shot clock violation than they were for a dunk at the other end. And that's the culture he's trying to create with this group.
Out of the timeout, 5:35 to play in the first half. Carolina with the ball up 27-25. Northern Iowa comes out to try to double Davis, and he tried to find Baycott, but the pass was deflected, and Anderson comes away with the turnover for the Panthers.
Hudson. Davis got to make a better pass right there.
Bourne slows things down. That's what you'd expect from one of your experienced players. 27-25, Heels up 2 defending. Bourne, wraparound bounce pass out of the far block to Hudson, and he was fouled by Armando Baycott. Just the first on the graduate out of Richmond, but that's the 7th team foul on Carolina, so the Panthers at the free throw line for the remaining 5:10 of the half. Trimble checks out. Wojcik comes back in. Ingram, Baycott, Ryan, and Davis also on the floor for Coach Davis's team. Front end too strong, and the rebound to Ryan. Coach Davis pointing his team up court. Davis left open for 3. He'll take it and miss short, but nobody blocked him out. That's an offensive rebound and a fresh 20 for the Tar Heels. Still 27-25 late in the first half. Baycott, high post right side. Hands off to Ingram, a 3 from the right wing. That's off the heel of the iron. And the rebound at the free throw line to Titan Anderson, and Northern Iowa really dodging a bullet there on a couple of good-looking shots from the Tar Heels. Heisey on the drive, feeds it into the corner to Anderson. Bodied up by Ryan. Carolina really playing some exceptional defense as Heisey got caught under the basket. Feeds a pass back out. Hudson driving all the way through traffic and lays it in over the rim. Good. Tie game at 27.
Really nice move by Hudson as Davis has to work hard to get the inbounds pass around the defense of Trey Campbell.
Nearing 4 to play in the first half. 27 all our score. Ryan, a left-handed bounce pass to Baycott on the left block. He'll come back outside the three-point arc, reset, drive, pull up to the baseline, and miss from 10. Tap back out to Davis, to Ryan. Is this one going to go? No, off the front rim. Baycott soars for the offensive rebound, but as he called for an over-the-back violation, Adam, it's foul number 2 on Armando.
Nice job by Harrison Ingram to keep that play alive. He created that first offensive rebound, but the ball just will not go in for Cormac Ryan. who is now 0 for 5 in this game and 0 for his last 11 from 3.
There's no doubt Carolina's getting good shots. Carolina's the aggressor, and we'll see if all this hard work pays off later on in the game. Right now, 3:56 to play before intermission. Carolina 27, Northern Iowa 27. It's Carolina basketball. Take your Tar Heels tailgate to the next level with the new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Along with Adam Lucas, Dave Nathan here in the Imperial Arena in Nassau. Jones is back in the studio. He'll catch you up on scores, stats, and highlights at the break, which is just 3:56 away. Score tied at 27. Tar Heels just 8 of 24 shooting so far in the first half. The Panthers are shooting 55%, 11 out of 20. But again, Carolina's defense has been, I think, everything that you'd want so far.
And now they've got to get the offense on the same page. Here's the issue. Cormac Ryan 0 for 5, R.J. Davis 0 for 4, Harrison Ingram 2 for 6. Those three are 2 for 15. Everybody else is 6 for 9. So I think Hubert Davis probably trying to get the message across in the huddle. Guys, we're 2 for 11 from 3. We're 6 for 13 from 2. How about getting the ball a little closer to the basket, throw it down there to Armando Bacot, who unfortunately probably going to have to sit the rest of the half with 2 fouls, get it closer to the rim, and get some easier shots.
Here's Hudson back at the free throw line. Makes good on the first of a 1-and-1. At 7 in the game. He was only 7 of 17 at the stripe coming into today's contest. And now he's 2 of 3 in this one as he buries the second to give him 8 in the game, and that gives the Panthers a 29-27 lead. Washington on the floor for Carolina along with Wojcik, Davis, Ryan, and Ingram. The Tar Heels get it into Davis, who comes up the far sideline.
Big stretch for Jalen Washington right here. Last minutes of the first half in a close game. Carolina needs him in the post, scoring and rebounding.
Ingram driving baseline. Feeds a pass into the near corner to Davis. Back out on the right wing to Wojcik, who runs in to Campbell, who's called for the blocking foul. That was a massive collision, and it goes down as Campbell's first and the team's 9th. Withers checks in for the Tar Heels. Let's see who comes out. It's Cormac Ryan.
Paxton Wojcik has had some tough collisions already here in the first half. He was checking his lip. I think it was a little bloody after he slipped in his earlier sequence. And then that collision was like somebody was driving on the wrong side of the road here in the Bahamas going around a roundabout. It's just a huge collision, but he gets a couple of free throws out of it.
Wojcik's first free throw rattles in and gives him 3 in the game. He and Hudson were both at Loyola but missed each other by a season. They meet on the same floor here today in Nassau. Just one of several connections with all these 8 teams here in the new transfer rules. Second free throw good for Wojcik. 4 in the game. And the Tar Heels have tied it at 29. As Wojcik comes out, Cadeau comes in, and the Tar Heels again try to force the issue with some full court pressure.
Now you find out what kind of depth you really have with some of it on the court in a tie game against a good team.
Anderson hustles it up the near sideline. Picks up his dribble. Couldn't find Bourne, but he does give to Campbell. Pair of number 4s, Davis and Campbell on one another. Campbell, 13-footer, swish from just left of the lane. 6 for Campbell in the lead, back to a 31-29 advantage for Northern Iowa. 3 minutes to play in the first half from the Imperial Arena. Ingram rocks it back and forth against Hudson. Fires a pass into the corner to Withers. Withers over the head pass to Cadeau. Looks down to find a three-point line, but couldn't find the range as another shot misses. The Tar Heels, 2 of 11, make it 2 of 12 from distance. And now Northern Iowa rifles a pass out of bounds. Last touch by Carolina, which stops the clock with 2:42 to play. Heisey out, Duax in. The Panthers lead the Tar Heels 31-29.
Cadeau's got to understand that's not why he's out there. He's not out there to take that shot. He's out there to get better shots for his teammates. That right-hand side of the floor that Carolina's shooting on, all kinds of slipping on that side of the court.
Campbell finds Bourne. Bourne shoots over the top of Davis, and Bourne into the scoring column with 2:33 to play in the first half. It's a 34-29 advantage for the Panthers. Bourne had been kept under wraps for almost 18 and a half minutes as Davis loses his footing, and a good reason why. He was chopped down by Duax, who's called for his second and the team's 10th. So if Carolina wants to hang around or maybe even take a late lead in the first half, the free throw line may be Carolina's best friend, where they're already 11 of 12, and had it not been for the stripe, Adam, there's no telling what kind of trouble the Tar Heels will be in.
There's going to be no telling what kind of trouble the Tar Heels are going to be in if somebody doesn't start wiping up that end of the court. Roy Williams sitting up there about 12 rows up, probably about to have a stroke, as that's one of his pet peeves. They're wiping it with like a hand towel from my hotel room. Get these guys a mop, wipe up that side of the court. R.J. Davis went down hard. You know it's an existing issue. Let's get that thing cleaned up so these two good teams can play.
Davis' first free throw is good. 5 of 5 on the year from the stripe for the Tar Heel senior. And the second one also falls. 34-31. Carolina cuts into the lead, now trailing by 3 points with 2:20 and counting to play before the break.
7 of Carolina's last 10 points from the free throw line.
No field goals for Carolina for 4 minutes. Hudson back out to Bourne, who just buried the 3. 10 to shoot. Bourne creates some space, 18-footer, and he's heating up. That's 5 straight for Bourne, and the lead back to 5 for UNI. Ingram wastes no time running it down court. Left-handed layup off the front rim, and Bourne up the near sideline for UNI. 1:45 to play before halftime. From the Imperial Arena, our score, UNI 36, Carolina 31. Hudson got free from Withers. He was fouled, shot rattled out. Ingram whistled for the infraction, his first and the team's 9th. And the Panthers, for a change, have a chance to get to the stripe with their 5 of 7.
I think Jalen Withers must have thought he had help under the rim, because he dramatically overplayed Hudson going towards the sideline and just gave him the middle. But there was nobody there, and Hudson goes to the line where he misses the first free throw.
Hudson has an early 8. Check that, 6 for Northern Iowa so far. And now he's got 7. 37-31. Northern Iowa leads Carolina by 6 with 90 seconds to play in the first half. Cadeau whips a pass left side to Davis. Back out to Washington. Couldn't handle it. Bourne wins the race down court, and he lays it in. That's another field goal for Bourne. A quick 7, and the lead 8 for UNI. The Panthers have hit on their last 4 from the field as Cadeau gets in between some traffic and picks up a foul on Bourne. That's his second, and 2 free throws coming up for Carolina. But Adam, the Tar Heels trailed by 8. 10 too early, came all the way back to take a 27-25 lead about 5 minutes ago, but the Panthers have been streaking every which way since then.
Tar Heels 8-point deficit, their biggest of the year so far, matching that 10-2 deficit earlier in the game. Carolina needs R.J. Davis to pull it together. That last turnover, a live ball turnover that gives the Panthers a layup as Cadeau misses the first free throw in front of the very happy Northern Iowa fans. As a live ball turnover by R.J. Davis, the second time he's done that, where he's just been too casual throwing the ball out to the top of the key. He's got 3 turnovers in the game. He's 0 for 4 from the field. Tar Heels need him to pull it together at halftime or before, preferably.
Cadeau's second free throw is good. The lead back down to 7 for UNI, 39-32. Approaching 1 minute to play before halftime. Hudson tried to back down Washington, fires a pass back out to Campbell. It's too strong off the back iron, and Withers wins the rebound for the Tar Heels. Ingram sends it to Davis. Can he send this one in? Of course he can. RJ's good from 3. And the Tar Heels back within 4 at 39-35, and may have a chance to play a little 2-for-1 with the game clock just inside of 40 seconds, about a 15-second difference on the shot clock. Duax tried to bounce it to Hudson, but a foul called first. That's on Washington for the hold underneath. That's his second and the team's 10th, so all these fouls already beginning to accrue. Duax, Heisey, and Bourne with 2 for Northern Iowa. The Tar Heels have 2 on Washington, 3 on High, and 2 on Baycott.
Tar Heels were down 2 when Baycott went out of the game at the 4-minute TV timeout. If they could get into the locker room within maybe a possession, I think you'd feel pretty good about this sequence. Of course, you feel even better if you get a couple quick baskets, but Hudson makes the first free throw, so Carolina down 5 with 33.1 left.
Landon Wolf comes into the game for UNI. Taylor also on the floor with Campbell, Anderson, and Hudson. 33.1 seconds to play in the half. Hudson's second free throw is good. And he's got a game high of 9.
Tar Heels have their timeout if they want to use it here in the first half.
Right on cue, Adam. They might be listening to the broadcast. So both teams take their use it or lose a timeout in the first half. 26 and 4/10 seconds to play before the break. Again, Jones will have a busy North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Stats presented by Lenovo and your BMW Ultimate Halftime Highlights. This game has not been without some highlights for Carolina, but Adam, they've been too few and far between as UNI leads Carolina 41-35.
Just can't get in an offensive rhythm, and as Northern Iowa has stopped turning the ball over, they've gotten more efficient offensively. They've taken the lead. They've got it out to 41-35. Tar Heels need to run something right here. Whatever you think the best play you've got to get at least a basket or two the free throw line. You would think it might involve Harrison Ingram maybe going towards the rim and try to get a couple points, get a little momentum as you go into the break.
Carolina breaks the huddle.
And leave time for an offensive rebound because you got Jalen Withers out there who's good on the glass. You got Ingram. You got Jalen Washington. Leave time to maybe tip one up if the initial shot misses.
The Tar Heels will inbound from the sideline in their own front court with Withers. Washington, Cadeau, Davis, and Ingram also on the floor for Coach Davis's team. The ball comes into Cadeau and the clock rolls inside of 23 seconds. About a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Panthers fans on their feet across the way. The team on the floor sagging back with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Cadeau gets a high screen from Withers, gives it back to the transfer. Withers spins and a foul called. It's an offensive foul, and the Tar Heels turn it over with 4.5 seconds to play. There's another Tar Heel with 2 fouls. Withers picks himself up off the floor in near disbelief on that call. That'll have Okonkwo coming off the bench for the first time. And Jalen Washington comes out for Carolina. So, Adam, there's 4.5 seconds to play. There's plenty of time for UNI to get up the floor and get a good shot.
That's just Withers' second turnover of the season. He had been kind of turnover prone at Louisville last year, but much better this year. Just got out of control on that play that I think waited a little too long before Cadeau initiated it. Like putting Seth Trimble back in for defense here.
Northern Iowa has the ball out of bounds on the baseline under Carolina's basket.
Gary Maxwell wants the Tar Heel bench to sit down. The most important thing happening here in Nassau.
Looks like we're ready to restart play. Campbell takes the inbounds pass across the timeline with 2-1. Let's fly from 30. It's short. Hits off the front of the net, and we'll go to the half. Carolina down 41-35. The Heels have been down by as many as 8. That's their biggest deficit of the season. It's the first time they've trailed at the half this year. And the next 20 minutes may very well be a dogfight if Carolina wants to get into the winner's bracket against either Villanova or Texas Tech. Northern Iowa leads Carolina at the half, 41-35. We'll take a break. The Wells Fargo halftime show is right around the corner. Jones across the way back in the studio will tell you everything you need to know about this one and plenty more from Learfield. Modelo is proud to sponsor Carolina Basketball. Modelo, an official beer of the Carolina Tar Heels. Back here in Nassau, start of the second half, Carolina trailing Northern Iowa 41-35. Dave Nathan, Adam Lucas, Brian Yost, our engineer here. I don't know if we'll ever have these same 3 people ever working a game together again, Adam, but here we are, and the Tar Heels need to come back in the next 20.
Well, we won't if the Tar Heels don't come back in the next 20 because nobody will want us together. Carolina's going to make a switch right off the bat as Jalen Withers is going to start the second half instead of Seth Trimble. I like that move, get a little height, get a little athleticism and versatility. I bet that was a hot locker room as Carolina was out-rebounded. outscored in the paint, turned it over too much, didn't throw it to Armando Bacot enough, didn't make open shots, but you're only down 6. Yeah. So you're still in striking distance. Tar Heels got to do it from the start here in the second half.
Bacot just 2 of 3 shooting in the first half. We'll see if he can get some more touches as the Tar Heels start out moving from left to right to begin the second stanza. Again, 41-35, Northern Iowa with the 6-point lead. Davis on the far sideline. Back to the top of the circle. Ingram gives it back to RJ, driving left, and he can't get that layup to go down. Bacot's second effort won't fall. Campbell with the rebound for Northern Iowa. Panthers have their first possession of the second half. 30 seconds gone by. UNI leads Carolina by 6. Heisey. Back and forth he goes against Ryan near the head of the key. Into the deep corner far side to Campbell. 10 to shoot. Northern Iowa hasn't been a stranger to taking the shot clock deep today. And there's another bit of slippage by Anderson as the ball trickles over the sideline. It'll stay with Northern Iowa, but Adam, time and again, the floor has been the undoing of some players' feet, and here come the mops.
Especially at that end. It's not a secret. We did finally locate a mop here a little bit after 1 o'clock. Now we're going to utilize that down at that end. Tar Heels are just happy they're on the dry end. This is like choosing to go with the wind in football.
2 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. Lob pass towards the goal, and Hudson couldn't get it up in time. The ball was stripped free, and it's a live ball. Carolina has it. Ingram bounces to Bacot, finds Davis on the trail. RJ through traffic, scoops it up, and a goaltending call on Hudson. That basket's going to count, and the Tar Heels trail by 4. 41-37, defense into offense, and a field goal.
Tar Heels might have caught a little break on the other end on that play with 2 seconds on the shot clock. It looked like Bacot might have raked Hudson to force that loose ball. Doesn't matter. Carolina will take it and the points.
Carolina's bench cheering for some defense. The Panthers have the ball as Bourne drives, 12-footer, and that's off the back rim. Withers active with the rebound on the left elbow for Carolina. 18:40 to play in the ball game. 41-37. The Panthers lead by 4. And Adam, right on cue, there seems to be a focus on going inside as that pass was deflected over the baseline.
Tar Heel head manager Reagan Copeland with the savvy getting that loose ball. Caleb Hudson's really defending hard in the post against Bacot right now. He's thwarted a couple potential entry passes.
Carolina gets it into Ingram, to Ryan, a 3, and he comes out hot and cooking. Cormac connects. First triple of the ball game for the graduate. He's got 5, and Carolina back to within 1.
Well, that would make the Carolina offense different. First make in 12 tries for Cormac.
There's a try from 2 on the baseline by Campbell that spins out. Carolina down 6 at the half, has a chance to take the lead. Withers wraparound pass. Ingram a wide open 3. Carolina's got the lead. 43-41. Ingram's fired up. The Tar Heels come firing off the bench. The Panthers take a timeout, and Adam, it's taking just 2 minutes and 1 second for Carolina to swing this game in their favor.
First lead since 27-25. Great job by Withers to take the hard dribble, draw the defense, but then make the unselfish pass for the wide open 3, and most importantly, Tar Heels knock it down.
Harrison Ingram first into double figures with 10. Timeout on the floor. It's 43-41. Carolina leads by 2 with 17:59 to go from Learfield. Harris Teeter is the official grocery store of your Carolina Tar Heels and offers everything you need for the perfect game day. From subs to pizza to snacks and drinks, we've got you covered. Plus, they offer great ways to save every day with fuel points. EVIC and HT Plus. Visit harristeeter.com for more info. Back here in the Bahamas, 17:59 to play in the game. Carolina's opened up the second half on an 8-0 run and leads 43-41. The Panthers of Northern Iowa have the basketball after taking their second time out of the game.
Withers going into the lineup makes a difference right away. Now the Tar Heels are going to use him on the ball. He's tough to throw it over because he's got such good athleticism.
Anderson tries to get it into Bourne on the baseline. Bourne doubled by Withers and Davis. He's in real trouble as he gets it over to Anderson, who runs it into the front court for Northern Iowa. Again, the Tar Heels lead 43-41 early in the second half. Heinze on the bounce near the top of the circle. Gives it off to Bourne on the weave. 10 to shoot as, again, the Panthers wear the shot clock down. Anderson to Hudson with 5 to shoot. Baycott bodies up Hudson, and he fouled him with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Adam, that's tough for a couple of reasons. That was a bad shot. He was in trouble, and it's Baycott's third.
Yeah, he kind of had a hold of the jersey with his left hand, and so I think that's why he got the call. The play was blown up when Nate Heinze, this is going to surprise you, slipped and fell down on the baseline, so Northern Iowa had to improvise, and it ended up in Hudson's hands, who unable to convert the first opportunity at the free throw line.
Hudson was 5 of 7 at the stripe in the first half. He'll have a second chance here with 17:30 to play, and he bangs it in good. Hudson joins Ingram in double figures, and it's 43-42. Carolina leads by 1 with the ball. Davis bounces to Baycott, spins on Hudson, and goes right to the cup. The Panthers brought help, but Baycott with a big size advantage on Anderson will be at the free throw line for 2.
Titan Anderson was late getting over for the double, as Northern Iowa's been double-teaming Baycott pretty consistently. Hudson let him turn into the rim thinking, oh, my teammate will be there, but just a step late, and that sends Baycott to the free throw line.
Baycott's second free throw of the game, every bit as good as the first that went in. 6 in the game for the Tar Heel center, and it's 44-42. Carolina with 17:19 to play. That foul on Anderson, his second, and the team's second in the second half. I beg your pardon, the first in the second half. And Baycott swishes home the next free throw to make it 45-42. Withers all over Anderson, who brings it up the floor. Hands to Campbell. Right side Hudson. 3 minutes into the second half, Carolina leads by 3. Hudson tries to back down Baycott, goes through the paint, comes back around, reverses, goes up, and has the ball swatted free. Anderson's attempt from in tight won't fall, and there's a loose ball foul called on Northern Iowa.
Great job by Harrison Ingram raking down to force the initial loose ball, and then so nice to have Withers under the rim to challenge that shot when it looked like it had just fallen to Northern Iowa. They might have an easy layup. Instead, Withers is there to contest it. Tar Heels end up with the ball.
Foul goes against Hudson. And Carolina gets it back, leading by 3, 45-42. Ingram, good crossover on Anderson. Dribbles through traffic to Ryan. Oh, you love that from Cormac. He drains another 3 from the near sideline. And Carolina has come out on fire here in the second half. Ryan with 8. Hudson tries to answer. Bad shot off the front iron. And the Tar Heels off and running on the secondary break. Anderson had a little contact with Davis, who has the ball on the near wing. Bounce pass to Baycott. He's doubled, and the Tar Heels forced to reset. 48-42 Carolina, up 6, and Ryan another 3. Heat check. Oh, let me tell you, he's hot. He's smoking, and Carolina on fire has its biggest lead, 51-42. Cormac Ryan with a game-high 11, and Northern Iowa has to take another timeout.
Carolina basketball meet Cormac Ryan. Cormac Ryan meet Carolina basketball. That's the guy Carolina's seen all summer.
All of a sudden, Ryan, who is 0 of 5 shooting in the first half, has drained 3 threes. He's got 11, and there's timeout on the floor. 15:56 to play in the second half. The worm has turned, as they say. Carolina down 8 in the first half, leads by 9, 51-42 from Learfield.
Play-by-play coverage of the Battle for Atlantis is presented by Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Now back to Paradise Island.
15 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the second half. The Tar Heels have gone on a 14-1 run to lead Northern Iowa 51-42. Lenovo is proud to support the Tar Heels this season and is a global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Visit Lenovo.com. Smarter technology for all. Adam, this is game number 120 for Cormac Ryan in his career. He's been in double figures in roughly half of those games. This is the 59th time he's hit double figures, and he's into double figures because he's got 9 out of his 11 in the blink of an eye to start the second half.
Cormac Ryan's played in this event before. He played in it when he was a freshman at Stanford. Maybe had not played in it quite like this. As it's easier to go on a 14-1 run when you're getting them 3 at a time. 3 from Cormac Ryan, another 3 from Harrison Ingram. That was the first time, the last time down on offense, that I thought Northern Iowa looked like they got out of what they wanted to do a little bit. Hudson rushed a shot as Carolina trying to stretch out a lead.
After Northern Iowa took time, we're back to business. Panthers basketball on the baseline, length of the floor to go, and another little bit of full court pressure by the Tar Heels. Withers kicks it out of bounds up against the basket support. Just a second went off the clock.
Jalen Washington's in for Armando Bacon as the Tar Heels try to steal a couple minutes. Mondo's got 3 fouls.
Anderson having all sorts of
He can't run
problems.
the baseline right there.
And the Tar Heel staff is trying to remind the officials that after the ball was kicked out of bounds, it should have been a spot throw, but instead, no whistle.
That's just a blatant miss. You can't miss that.
Duax on the baseline feeds Hudson back outside to Heisey. And the Panthers try to reset. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Heisey lost the ball in the attempted spin dribble. 5 to shoot. There's Bourne cutting through traffic. Washington, he'll stop that in a hurry. Blocks it at the point, and that'll spur the Tar Heels on the break. Davis, right wing. Up 9 are the Heels, 51-42. Ryan driving on Duax, lost his footing again on the floor, and Cormac calls for timeout, and he'll get that. So, Adam, we've got another bit of slippage here on the floor. A blown call by the officials in this game. If it wasn't fast and loose enough already, it sure is now.
Marquise Pettigrew is standing right there looking at that play, and now is trying to explain to Brad Frederick why he could run the court. And I think he just said, yeah, you're right. He thinks the Tar Heel coaches are arguing that the ball was kicked. They're not. They're arguing that you missed a fundamental rule of basketball, and you're standing right there and can't miss it in this kind of game. Good news, though, Dave. They found a mop at this end of the court. It's not even a mop. It's like a towel wrapped around a pole. So we're doing our best. Cormac Ryan went down. He did get the timeout. Tar Heels huddle up and talk about it. Great play, by the way. Jalen Washington at the other end erasing that shot at the rim as the ball didn't lie on that particular one.
Now, Carolina has 7 blocks in the game. Ryan had a big one early. Washington just had one. And we've got 15-14 to play with a 51-42 Carolina advantage.
And Pettigrew just said, Marquise Pettigrew, the official, just said, my fault. So he knows he missed it. That's all you ask. Admit it, move on, don't do it again.
Cadeau to inbounds from left of the lane on the baseline. To Ryan, quick trigger. He is human after all. Off the back iron, and Northern Iowa with the rebound. 5 minutes into the second half, Panthers have the ball. Taylor on the left wing, and he took steps. I wouldn't say Cadeau really hassled him, but he just backed up 1 step too far, and the turnover gives it right back to Carolina. Inside 15 minutes to play. Carolina on the strength of a 14-1 run to begin the second half. Leads 51-42. Ingram fires a pass to Ryan. Head fake, got Henry in the air, but missed the shot from in tight. Washington with the rebound, and Taylor knocks it away through Washington's legs out of bounds on the baseline. Still Carolina ball.
Jalen Washington really working hard on that sequence. Set a couple really good screens, posted up hard, didn't get the ball, went to the glass, created the offensive rebound. Maybe shouldn't have brought it down, but you can't have everything.
Cadeau between the midcourt stripe and the top of the circle finds an open Ryan, but he can't find the range. Ingram soars in for the offensive rebound, but I believe he took steps in the process once he came down. And Northern Iowa gets the ball back with 14:33 to play in the second half.
I think Harrison Ingram was expecting some defense when he took the offensive rebound back up. If he had just gone up and shot it, or maybe he lost the handle, if he had just gone up and shot it, he had a clear path to the basket.
Henry to Duax. As Coach Jacobson continues to substitute, handoff. Anderson, another block shot by Washington. It's called a foul about 30 feet away by Gary Maxwell. Ramey Steins was on the baseline. He saw nothing. Marquise Pettigrew right in front of him saw nothing. But on the backside, Maxwell blew the whistle. Adam, I thought at worst that might be a jump ball. But it's 2 free throws coming up for Anderson on Washington's 3rd foul of the game.
Well, this is when we would normally be checking either the video board or the courtside monitor, but we've got 0 of those down here on the baseline. Either way, I like the competitiveness by Jalen Washington. Ball don't lie again. Titan Anderson as the first free throw rims off. I like the competitiveness. Oh, Dave, stop the game. The Tar Heel bench needs to sit down. The most important thing that the officials have to worry about. Jalen Washington competing at the rim, no layups, even though he was called for the foul.
Second free throw good by Anderson, who's got 5 in the game. And the Heels lead is whittled down to 8, 51-43. Close to 14 minutes to go in the game. Cadeau outside the three-point arc. Sends it to Ingram. He'll send it in from distance. How about that for Ingram? 13 in the game for the Stanford transfer. And Carolina has its biggest lead of the game, 54-43.
Great job by Cadeau to create offense.
Henry turns around from 6, flips in a left-handed hook shot. And the Panthers stem the time, but only for a moment, down 54-45. Ingram, ball over his head to Cadeau. Left side, Washington turns and faces on Henry. Shoulder fake, goes up from 6, and it goes. Used up every bit of real estate. And Washington with his first field goal, 3 in the game, pushes the lead back out to 11. 13:25 to play. Taylor, quick trigger 3 from the near corner. That rims out. Ingram with the rebound. Down the near sideline to Ryan. Over the head pass to Ingram. Is he going to do it again? Oh, yes, he will. A lot of iron and a little bit of net on the way down. Hard to believe the Tar Heels, down by as many as 8 on a couple of occasions in the first half, have stretched the lead out to 14 just 7 minutes into the second half. Heisey backdoor, created some contact and fouled on the way up to the free throw line for 2. See who the foul is on. Ramey Steins looked like he had the call.
Harrison Ingram.
And that's 2 on Ingram. 3 team fouls for Carolina in the half. 59-45 our score. The Tar Heels have outscored the Panthers 24-4 in the first 7:02 of the second half. Heisey drains the first free throw.
Carolina 6 of 7 from 3.
And Ryan, who's got 3 of those threes, comes out along with Jalen Washington. Paxton Wojcik checks in for the Tar Heels. R.J. Davis also back out on the floor along with Withers as the second free throw rolls in to put Heisey to double figures with 10. So it's Wojcik, Withers, Ingram, Cadeau, and Davis on the floor for Carolina. Wolf into the game. Polk, Campbell, Bourne, and Hudson, the 5 Panthers. 59-47 our score. Carolina up 12 with the ball. Ingram driving on Polk as the Tar Heels reverse it back around to the right side. Davis, another triple for Carolina. Where have we seen that before this half?
What a great pass by Cadeau, who knew where R.J. Davis was before Cadeau ever caught that pass, able to swing it immediately to create a better shot.
And there's an offensive foul on Bourne pushing off Davis. Nothing going right for UNI while Carolina can do no wrong.
And he was pushing off Cadeau. So not only does Cadeau get the assist offensively, he creates a turnover defensively and leads to another Northern Iowa timeout.
12:31 left to play in the game. Northern Iowa doesn't have any more timeouts remaining. I think this extends to a full, so we'll take the timeout as well. Carolina has outscored Northern Iowa 27-6 in about the first 7.5 minutes of the second half. It's Carolina basketball from Learfield. After the timeout, Carolina continues to sizzle. R.J. Davis with a 3 from the right wing. It is a 65-47 lead for the Tar Heels nearing the midway point of the second half. Hudson gets the ball in the paint for Northern Iowa, kicks it back out to Polk, whose 3-pointers off the mark, and the Tar Heels off and running with another defensive rebound. Ingram down court. 12-footer off the window. It rolls off, and Polk the rebound for Northern Iowa. Carolina has outscored UNI by 24 points in the second half so far as Polk hoists up an air ball from the near baseline, and the Tar Heels claim another defensive rebound. Wojcik over the head pass to Withers. Jab step, drives to the lane on Hudson, and drops in another field goal for the Tar Heels.
That's why Jalen Withers is in the game. That kind of athleticism and power. Carolina able to get an easy basket near the rim during the half when they're doing most of their work away from the rim.
Adam, the Tar Heels shot roughly 33% in the first half. They're shooting better than 64% in this half as the Heels forced a turnover, tried to get out on the break, and an errant pass lands on the sideline in front of the Carolina bench. So that'll take us to another timeout with 11:01 to play. 67-47 our score. And as the teams talk things over, this will be a good time to remind you that the Tar Heel Sports Network's play-by-play coverage of the Battle for Atlantis is presented by Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers or Reed's.com. If you're a little late to the party, Carolina got the game's first basket and then trailed 10-2. That was the first of a couple of occasions where the Tar Heels trailed by as many as 8 in the second half, in the first half. Carolina was down 41-35 at the half, but in the second half, Adam, it's almost like Carolina can't miss.
Well, and it's interesting, Carolina's essentially skipped Armando Bacot in what you would think would be the sequence where they put him back in. Instead, they chose to go a little smaller. They went with Jalen Washington for a while. Mondo's got those 3 fouls, but the Tar Heels have been so effective without him, and with some openings under the rim, they've been able to use that flexibility, create some offense, stretch the lead out. And when you can do it without your big guy, that's the kind of depth and flexibility that Hubert Davis has been saying he thinks this team has.
Harrison Ingram has a season-high 16 so far to lead the way for Carolina. R.J. Davis into double figures with 13. Cormac Ryan has 11 for the Tar Heels. Ingram also has 8 rebounds to go with 3 assists. I was walking from one end of the hotel earlier with one of the Stanford assistants. He was lamenting the loss that Harrison Ingram would present on any roster, and unfortunately for Stanford, they were the ones that had to lose him, but to the benefit of Carolina, fantastic kid, and he has really fit well in a short amount of time for Hubert Davis's team.
And I think what Harrison Ingram said before the season is exactly right. He said he felt like sometimes he had to play some one-on-one game last year for Stanford that he wouldn't have to do this year for Carolina. He'd get more catch-and-shoot opportunities. He'd get more isolation opportunities where the defense, he's not the defense's primary concern, and he thought that would make him a better player. Very cerebral guy, so he evaluated all this before he decided where his transfer destination would be. And I think what he thought on his role would be on this Carolina team is exactly what it has been, and that's why he's been effective.
Stanford in the late game tonight against Arkansas, and the Hogs have traveled from Fayetteville here to Nassau. Michigan-Memphis in the third game, which will tip off around 5 o'clock. The next game here after hours, Villanova-Texas Tech. The winner of our matchup gets the winner of that game. The losers meet up tomorrow. 11:01 to play in the second half. The Tar Heels all of a sudden up by 20, 67-47, and have the ball. Ryan flips to Cadeau, who gives it right back. Cadeau tried to cross over Bourne, but a foul will keep things with Carolina. That's Bourne's 4th and the team's 4th. Bourne went a long time in this game without scoring at him. It took him almost 18 minutes to get in the scoring column. Then he had 5 just like that, but he's been held to 7. It's been kind of a stilted start to the season for one of the MVC's best players.
Height on him has bothered him, and Carolina's now gone back to Bacot down low.
There's Wojcik, a 3 after the inbounds pass from the left wing. It's no good, and the Panthers clear the glass. Heisey tried to create some space with Wojcik instead. Hands to Wolf. 10:30 to play. Heels up 67-47. Panthers with the ball as Heisey spins around. Campbell, right side. 10 to shoot. Ball back to Heisey. Bacot defending. And a pass into the seats, Adam. We were told the courtside seats were oversold. I count 4 people across the entire length of the floor sitting in them right now, and that pass was to nobody.
Well, each one of those 4 bought 18 tickets, Dave. That's what you don't know. Not great awareness right there by Heisey as he gets switched onto Baycott with Baycott guarding him. Baycott's got 3 fouls and doesn't want to pick up a 4th, but instead Heisey gives the ball up, and it's a turnover.
Over the head pass from Cadeau to Ryan. Air ball, though, from 3 in front of the Heels bench, and the ball knocked out of bounds by the Panthers on the Carolina baseline. 18 seconds on the shot clock, 10:09 to play in the game. Still a 20-point cushion for Carolina, 67-47 in the Imperial Arena. Cadeau lobs a pass outside the three-point arc from the baseline to Baycott, who hands it right back to Cadeau. Swooping down the far side of the paint, he is clobbered. And Cadeau heading to the free throw line for 2. Foul goes against Titan Anderson. That's the 3rd on the Eldridge, Iowa native, and the 5th this half on the Panthers.
One thing I think you got to like about Cadeau is that he might struggle for a little bit of time. He didn't have a great series in the first half as he rolls in that first free throw. But he's come back here in the second half and been so much better creating offense. And also, that was a smart take right there. That was a good shot to try to get, and it leads him to making both of his free throws and extending the lead back out.
6 in the game for Cadeau. The Tar Heels up by 22, 69-47 as we tick inside 10 minutes to play in the second half. Anderson. Oh, good backdoor pass and a flush for Heisey, left unguarded.
Paxton Wojcik got caught watching the paint dry.
It's back to a 20-point lead for Carolina. Tar Heels ball. Trimble driving on Duax. Tried to split Anderson, lost it on the way up, and the loose ball to Heisey. Panthers have a chance to string some points together, down 69-49. Anderson into the paint, outside to Heisey, driving past Trimble. Finds Duax left side, and Duax airmailed the layup, but the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Carolina to Northern Iowa.
I think Duax thought Cadeau was going to go to the ground as Duax kind of pushed towards the rim, but Cadeau backed up, and Duax looked like he was surprised and sort of tossed it over the rim.
9:25 to play in the second half as the Panthers get it into Anderson. Hands off to Heisey. Back outside to Wolf again. Another slip, but he maintained his footing. 5 seconds to shoot. Northern Iowa on the left side. Anderson fires one off the glass, and the ball knocked away. Wolf has it last, and he can't get rid of that hot potato. Shot clock violation, I believe, number 4 of the game. And with 9:07, Carolina gets it back after turnover number 15 for UNI. Cadeau, Wojcik, Trimble, Baycott, and Ryan on the floor as Cormac's attempted entry pass to Baycott. Kicked by Wolf. It'll stay with Carolina. Coach Davis pacing the sidelines. Had his arms folded for a second before he started making some gyrations with his right arm. But he has to have liked what he's seen for the better part of the last 11 minutes of play. Carolina was down 6 at the half, currently leads by 20. Cadeau into Baycott, gives it right back to the freshman. Will this be his first three-pointer that falls? Yes, it will. Elliot Cadeau with 9 in the game. And it's 72-49. This has turned into a Carolina runaway. Wolf answers the 3 from the left corner. He's in the scoring column. 72-52, but this may be a case of too little too late for the Panthers. Ryan resets for the Tar Heels. Cross-court pass to Cadeau. Feeds Wojcik on the drive, and he's hammered by Wolf on his way to the basket.
Poor Paxton Wojcik is just getting pulverized in this game. Took a hard fall in the first half, ended up with a bloody lip. I think he got swatted across the face on that drive as he's still trying to collect himself and pointing to Marquise Pettigrew to show him where he got hit, as he's going to get some free throws eventually once he pulls it together. It's been a physical game for Paxton.
This is the guy that took 10 stitches in a shoot-around.
And played that day.
Wojcik, the lefty at the stripe, knocks home the first to give him 5 in the game. He's not missed from the free throw line today or during the season as Trimble comes out. It's Baycott, Davis, Cadeau, Ryan, and Wojcik on the floor for the white-clad Tar Heels. Northern Iowa in the purple tops and bottoms. As Wojcik's second free throw spins in, 74-52, and Withers checks in for Wojcik.
Both Wojcik's parents, of course, student athletes at the Naval Academy. I'm guessing the usual treatment for injuries at the Wojcik house was, rub some dirt on it, you're fine.
That's a season-high 6 for Wojcik, who comes off, and Doug Haverson will give him some attention right in front of us. 74-42, the lead, 22 for Carolina. The ball belongs to Northern Iowa. Heisey, right side. Wolf, shot fake, got Cadeau in the air, and he gets that 3 to go. Consecutive triples for Wolf, as it's a 74-55 lead for the Tar Heels, who feed it to Baycott. Had that shot affected by Heisey, but he gets it back, and he'll go to the free throw line after Wolf got him across the arm. Second foul on Wolf this half. The 7th on Northern Iowa, and there's timeout on the floor. All of a sudden, the tense moments of the first half have turned into some calm here in the second. 7:56 to play. The Tar Heels that close to a winner's bracket matchup with either Texas Tech or Villanova tomorrow. 74-55, Carolina leads UNI from Learfield.
Play-by-play coverage of the Battle for Atlantis is presented by Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Now back to Paradise Island.
Today's broadcast is presented in part by Allen Tate Realtors. Whether you're buying, selling, relocating, or seeking financing or insurance, Allen Tate can help. Allen Tate Realtors is the #1 realtor in the Carolinas with over 70 local offices and is a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. The Tar Heels are proud owners of a 74-55 lead over Northern Iowa with 7:56 to play in the second half. Dave Nathan, Adam Lucas, Brian Yost. I'd say we're here courtside. We're more like baseline side for this week here in Nassau. Jones Angel back in the studio, and John Essick pushing all the right buttons back at Learfield Mission Control. Baycott just picked up a foul, so he's at the free throw line for 2. Armando was 7 so far in the game, and now has 8 as he calmly swishes the first of 2 through. Foul trouble has saddled Baycott for a good portion of this game, as the next free throw off the back iron, and it'll stay 75-55 in favor of Carolina. Clock inside, 7:50 to play in the second half. The Panthers have the basketball as Heisey drives on the left baseline, fires a pass out to Wolf. He's been hot this half, and he connects on another 3. The 3 threes give him 9, and it's 75-58, approaching 7.5 to play. Cadeau gets the left elbow, 17-footer off the front iron. And the Tar Heels one shot and done on that possession, Adam.
Elliot Cadeau can get better shots than that one.
Heisey, though, gives Carolina a gift. Quick trigger 3 from the right wing off the mark. And the rebound to Carolina. Davis, wraparound left-handed bounce pass to Withers. Outside to Ryan. Inside Baycott, spinning away and smooching it off the glass. Oh, it's so good for Baycott. He's into double figures for the 4th time this year. And the Tar Heels up 77-58.
And the ball movement was so good. Withers, a cross-court blind pass to Ryan on the wing, then a much easier entry pass to Baycott, who knew what to do with it.
Heisey out to Hudson. Open 3. No good. Withers, uncontested defensive board for Carolina. Cadeau down the far sideline to Davis. Got free for a moment from Wolf before he bounced it to Baycott. Outside Cadeau, another shot fake to Davis, a 3. The Tar Heels can't connect, and Heisey with the rebound off the front iron. UNI with the ball down 77-58, nearing 6 minutes to play. Hudson inside the paint, got caught between steps, and he traveled. Turnover number 16 for the Panthers, and they have come in a variety of ways today, Adam.
I don't think Hudson was really expecting the ball right there. He's been pretty good today, either around the outside of the three-point line or close to the rim, but that was that in-between area, and he wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do with it.
Cadeau checks out for the Tar Heels. Ingram back on the floor. Taylor checks in for UNI. And he defends Davis coming up the floor. 77-58. Carolina leads by 19 with just over 6 minutes to play. Ingram bodying up Campbell. Turns, faces from 6. Can't get the soft roll. Anderson with the rebound inside the charge circle for Northern Iowa. And the Panthers come front court. Into the right corner. Taylor back outside to Heisey. Bacot switches on Heisey, who drives left, and it's a block party for Bacot. Pins that up against the glass to Ryan, up court Davis, and it won't go. Second effort, it's good by Withers, trailing the play. The Tar Heels running the floor and scoring to go up 79-58.
Really good on both ends. Bacot with the defense on Heisey, who thought he was going to take advantage of the bigger, slower guy. Bacot got the block, and then Withers running the floor to get the tip in. Campbell,
baseline jumper from 10 on the far side, nails it. And he's fouled. He'll head to the free throw line for 1 and goes against R.J. Davis, his first and just the team's 4th. Campbell with 8 in the game at the free throw line, having knocked down 3 of 5 entering play today. This is his first attempt at the stripe in this one. It's good. 79-61. 5:24 to play in the ball game. The Tar Heels moving closer and closer to a winner's bracket showdown against either Texas Tech or Villanova tomorrow afternoon. Ryan from the right elbow. Pass deflected out near the half-court stripe to Withers. Withers against Heisey. Gets inside the paint. Kicks it back out to Ryan, who feeds Bacot with 7 to shoot. Bacot gets in tight, misses once, misses twice, and all sorts of pushing and shoving underneath as Campbell takes a tussle. Bacot, I think, frustrated more than anything else that none of those shots would go down, couldn't get a call, and he's got his 4th foul.
Yeah, Dave said it. He was just frustrated. He did everything except the finish. As Bacot made the nice move, now he's going to take a pause to tie his shoe, and instead he's going to come to the bench as Hubert Davis is going to sub in Jalen Washington for Bacot, who's kind of giving an eye down this way. He was a little frustrated he didn't get a call. A lot of contact, a lot of slapping as he was unable to convert at the rim.
Yep, those untied shoelaces on his right sneaker dangling in the breeze as he takes a seat on the sideline. Still 79-61 Carolina. Heisey gets in the paint. There's some contact created. And Heisey back to the free throw line for 2 more. Ramey Steins has the call. And it's Cormac Ryan picking up his first and the team's 6th.
Tar Heels want to close this last 4:45 strong. You've played an excellent second half. Don't let this get down under 10 where you go away feeling like, the Tar Heels played about 12 good minutes. Play these 20 good minutes because you're going to need 40 good ones if you advance tomorrow against Villanova or Texas Tech.
Heisey spins the first free throw in. He leads Northern Iowa with 13 points. Give him 14 on the swish free throw. 79-63. Taylor defends Davis as the senior Tar Heel walks it up the floor on the far sideline. And a little handsy was Taylor with Davis. That's a foul called. And a 1-and-1 situation for Carolina forthcoming.
Northern Iowa is a great team to play early in the year. They make you guard a lot of stuff. They contest everything. They're kind of annoying because they're always around. They're slapping at the ball. They're trying to create some loose balls. This is a game that's going to benefit Carolina in the ACC against some similar opponents.
Washington checks out. So it's Ingram, Withers, Davis, Ryan, and Cadeau on the floor for the Tar Heels. Front end by Davis is short. That's a rare miss for one of the best free throw shooters in Carolina history.
The best.
Heisey front court with 4.5 to play. The lead is 16 for Carolina. Ball knocked around into the far corner. Heisey still on the bounce with Withers defending. Bounces to Campbell, or rather that's Anderson. Ingram won't give an inch. Turnaround hook shot. Oh, it spun out for a second, then dropped through. That's a muscle play by Anderson against Ingram, and the lead down to 14 for Carolina, 79-65 with 4 minutes to play in the second half. Carolina's largest lead was 23 points at 72-49. Heels burning some clock here with 10 to shoot. And Ryan picks up a blocking foul on Heisey, which is his third. And the Tar Heels to shoot a 1-and-1 after an official timeout. So, Adam, 3:50 left to go in the game. Carolina seems to have enough cushion, 79-65, but the momentum for the moment seems to be swinging back towards the Panthers.
Yeah, Hubert Davis going to remind his team during this timeout, close this thing strong. It's not like Carolina's cleared the bench. Hubert Davis wants his starters to go out there and finish this.
We'll take a quick station ID at the top of the hour here. 10 seconds down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network. .350 to play in the second half. Carolina 79, Northern Iowa 65 from Learfield. Along with Adam Lucas, Dave Nathan saying hello from Nassau here on a Wednesday afternoon. It is Wednesday, isn't it?
That's what they say. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. You know, we're going to celebrate with turkey right here at the Battle for Atlantis.
That's the plan. The Tar Heels would like to celebrate with a win here and play at 2:30 tomorrow against either Villanova or Texas Tech, but still 3:50 to play in this one. Carolina leads Northern Iowa 79-65, and Cormac Ryan, after the official timeout, is at the free throw line. He knocks down both of these. He ties his season high for points, which was 13 against Radford back in the opener on November the 6th. Front end, bottom. Ryan has 12 in the game. And this has been a game for Cormac, especially in the second half. Second free throw. Buried it. So it's 13 for Ryan, 13 for Davis, 16 for Ingram, and 10 for Bacot. The Tar Heels in double figures. The lead pushed back up to 16 points at 81-65. Panthers basketball, kind of an awkward pass by Bourne, but he finds Campbell on the right wing. Campbell crosses up on Cadeau, spins back towards the basket, flips a shot that won't fall, and the Tar Heels clear the glass. Cadeau front court, passes to Ingram. Left wing Ryan to Ingram, bounce pass, Withers, reverse layup, and he's fouled by Anderson under the basket. The ball movement for Carolina has been sensational in the last 16 minutes and change, where it wasn't so much in the game's first 20 minutes.
That was a great look by Ingram to Withers. If you go to a Carolina practice, at least once you're going to hear Hubert Davis scream, "Look inside." Every time down the court, he wants the Tar Heels looking in there. Ingram could have looked for his own right there. Instead, he sees Withers right under the rim, and Jalen able to get to the free throw line because of it.
That's 4 fouls on Titan Anderson, 10 team fouls against the Panthers. Withers at the free throw line for 2. And he becomes the most recent Tar Heel to jump into double figures with 10 points. First time as a Tar Heel in double figures, and he connects on the second for his 11th point in the game. 3:15 to play. Carolina leads UNI 83-65. Heisey on the drive, left baseline. Ingram deflects it, comes away to Davis, 2-on-2 break. And Davis does the wise thing with inside 3 minutes to play and turns it back outside towards the big court stripe, where the Tar Heels will run some clock. Ryan on the drive. Ryan reverse layup. Oh, he looked like Julius Erving right there, leaving on one side of the backboard, coming up on the other, and he was plastered to the floor. He's fouled, heading to the free throw line for 2.
All made possible because R.J. Davis made a winning play and not a highlight reel play. He maybe could have taken that ball in transition. He had Elliot Cadeau with him, but the smart play with an 18-point lead was pull the ball out, get something even better. And that's what Carolina did. Is Cormac Ryan going to the free throw line is a great way to create some offense.
So Anderson is fouled out for the second time this year and for the 6th time in his career. And Ryan is back at the free throw line trying to push this lead back out to 20. First of 2, rattles in. Cormac with a new season high. 14 points for Carolina. Washington checks in. Davis checks out. And RJ gets a nice round of applause from all the Tar Heel faithful that have traveled from far and near to get to Nassau this holiday week. Wojcik off the bench. That'll put Ingram on the sideline. And again, Adam, it's just 2:48 to go. We'll see if any of these guys come back in, but these are minutes well spent getting some rest before whatever grudge match awaits tomorrow as Ryan sinks the other free throw.
No matter what, you got to play 3 games in 3 days. Tar Heels think they have more depth. They're going to find out between now and Friday.
Duax with the ball at the top of the circle for the Panthers. Drives on Washington and can't get it to go off the window. But there is some contact at the shoulders, and Duax to the free throw line. That's 4 fouls on Jalen Washington. 17 fouls on Carolina. Duax 3 of 4 from the stripe this year. Misses well short on the first of 2.
I think there's a scenario where each day of this tournament, Carolina plays the best team it's faced this season on that particular day. I think Northern Iowa is the best team Carolina's played. Tomorrow, they're going to face the best team they've played.
Second free throw rolls off the front of the rim, and it's still 85-65. We're over 50 total free throws shot in today's game. This has all of a sudden turned into a foul fest as Withers drives the baseline, gives it into the corner to Wojcik. The Tar Heels pass it out to Cormac Ryan, who feeds Washington, sets the screen for Cadeau. Long jump shot, and that goes down for Cadeau. So he knocked down his first career triple earlier. That was a long 2, and it's 87-65. Cadeau into double figures for the first time in his young career. 2 minutes to play. Heels up 22. Okonkwo up off the bench to check in at the next whistle. As Bourne's 17-footer misses off the front rim. Offensive rebound for the Panthers, who send it back outside to Wolf. He was hot earlier, but cold late, and that ball's over the baseline, giving all these subs a chance to check in. So Ryan and Withers and Washington and just about everybody else who was on the floor for Carolina comes off. Zayden Hyde checks back in. He had those 3 early fouls in the first half. Maybe a chance to redeem himself here in the second half. Trimble's on the floor for Carolina. Wojcik has the ball on the right wing. 90 seconds to play. Cadeau, all sorts of dribbling action. Oh, he created some space. Where in the world did he go? He comes up with a layup, and Elliot Cadeau has made it an 89-65 lead as the Panthers and R.J. Taylor hoist up an air ball on the other end of the floor. And Carolina, Adam, just getting better as this game gets longer.
That's why Cadeau doesn't have to take 17-foot jumpers off no passes, because he can get to the rim as he did on the previous possession. But on this one, Zayden Hyde loses it after some contact.
Yeah, swooping play through the lane. Hyde can't connect, and the Panthers get the ball back. They can connect with Drew Daniels' first field goal, making it 89-67. 45 seconds left. The Tar Heels up 22. Okonkwo, cross court to Cadeau on the near sideline. Cadeau matched up with Henry. Another 3 for Cadeau. Spins off the rim. Okonkwo active, tapping it, and knocking it off of Duax. There's a hustle play that the Tar Heels will appreciate with just 29.6 seconds to play.
That's why his teammates love Harrison Ingram. He looks as excited about that play as he did about any of the 3 3-pointers that he's got in this game.
89-67. Fourth ever matchup between these two teams. Looks like Carolina's going to win it handily. Cadeau on the inbounds pass. 15-footer, little shake and bake. Well, the disappear-reappear act is not getting old, Adam. The first time he reappeared with a layup, that's just a solid jump shot as Duax spins out of control and misses the layup. Taylor on the offensive rebound drops it in from 10, and the Panthers refuse to go quietly. 10 seconds to play, and the Tar Heels will dribble this one out. 91-69. The Tar Heels from down 6 at the half double up Northern Iowa in the second stanza outscoring the Panthers 56-28. From the lowest scoring half of the season to the highest scoring half of the season, Jekyll and Hyde appearing in Nassau, and they're both wearing Carolina blue.
Felt like the fact that Carolina had a lot of depth wearing Carolina blue made a difference in that game, as Tar Heels maybe wore down Northern Iowa a little bit. They just kept running fresh bodies out there, fresh athleticism, fresh skill, and that made a big difference in the second half, as did, of course, making shots.
We'll recap this one for the better part of the next hour. Adam will track down Coach Davis and hopefully a Carolina player. Jones will get you up to speed on what's happening around the ACC in top 25. Plenty of stats, and I'm guessing some highlights as well. Carolina into the winner's bracket, playing tomorrow at 2:30 against either Villanova or Texas Tech. It's a final from Nassau. Carolina beats Northern Iowa 91-69 from Learfield.
Off we go to the post-game report after Carolina blitzes Northern Iowa in the second half and wins it 91-69. Heels were down 41-35 at halftime and then outscored Northern Iowa 56-28 in the second half. The first 10 minutes of the second half, Carolina outscored Northern Iowa 34-6. So that 10-minute stretch, bunch of three-pointers, really high-quality play from Carolina's offense, and started forcing Northern Iowa to miss some shots. The Panthers shot 60% in the first half, just 32% in the second half. So adds up to a 91-69 win. Heels now 4-0. They move on in the winner's bracket of the Battle for Atlantis. They'll play tomorrow at 2:30.
For 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition. Handcrafted beer, great food and atmosphere where Tar Heels come to celebrate. No doubt the Tar Heels will be celebrating the second half of today's game en route to the 91-69 win over Northern Iowa, but not a lot of time to celebrate because in a little more than 24 hours, Carolina expected right back on the floor to take on the winner of the game that's about to tip off. That's Texas Tech and Villanova. Again, 91-69, our final score, and the Tar Heels got to the free throw line a bunch today. 27 out of 31, which means another 2,700 meals were donated to a local area food bank through Food Line Feeds. Score to Give More program. Jones, this was an interesting game statistically. The Tar Heels score the most points on the season while shooting their worst percentage, but no doubt all those threes, 9 of them in the second half, contribute to the victory.
Carolina is a better shooting team than what we saw the first 3.5 games of the season. Not sure Carolina's going to go 9 of 13 from 3 in the half real consistently, but it kind of it all evened up a little bit. The Tar Heels had a lot of good looks shooting the ball in the first half, both around the rim and from 3, that just didn't go in. And then all of a sudden everything was going in. And Ingram and Ryan and R.J. Davis, Elliot Cadeau got in there, hit some big threes. Let's take a look at all these stats presented by Lenovo. Proud to support the Tar Heels this season. And Lenovo is a global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. You can visit their website at Lenovo.com. Lenovo, smarter technology for all. Let's start off with Carolina. As Dave referenced, the Tar Heels only shoot in total 42.5% from the floor, 26 of 61, but that second half, 17 of 34 from the floor, 50%, including 9 of 13 from three-point range. So first half, Carolina was 3 of 13 from 3, 9 of 13 in the second half. Carolina made 9 total field goals in the first half, made 17 total field goals in the second half. And Carolina shot free throws well the entire game, 27 of 31 as a team. That is 87%. Carolina out-rebounded Northern Iowa 36-33. That was after a deficit at halftime. Carolina ends up out-rebounding Northern Iowa 24-15 in the second half to get the overall rebound advantage. Tar Heels continue to share the basketball, 14 assists on 26 made field goals. Also, Carolina had 9 turnovers, but 417 of them in this game, and had 25 points off those 17 Northern Iowa turnovers. For the Panthers, they shoot 45% for the game, but just like Carolina shot so much better in the second half, it was the inverse for Northern Iowa. The Panthers go 9 of 28 in the second half, just 32%, 3 of 9 from three-point range. They were 7 of 11 from the free throw line. So Northern Iowa shot 60% in the first half, made 15 field goals in that first half. It shoots 32% with just 9 made field goals in the second half. So big change there, obviously, from the first half to the second half for both teams as far as just putting the ball in the basket. Individual numbers for Carolina. Harrison Ingram leads the scoring for the Tar Heels with 16. He has a double-double, his first as a Tar Heel, 6th in his career, 16 points and 10 rebounds. Elliot Cadeau has a freshman season high 15. He got a couple of those late, but did so in impressive fashion. 3 assists and 2 rebounds for Cadeau as well. Cormac Ryan had 15. He was just 3 of 12 shooting, but hit those 3 early threes in the second half that kind of set the tenor for the Tar Heels in half number 2. Also in double figures, Jalen Withers had 11, 4 rebounds for the Heels, and R.J. Davis had 13. Armando Bacot had 10. So that's 6 players in double figures for Carolina. We'll double check it. I believe it's the first time since the 2022 campaign. So Carolina did not have 6 players in double figures in a game last year. They put 6 players in double figures today. So again, Bacot had 10 and 8 rebounds. And so you've got 16 from Ingram, 15 from Ryan. You have 15 from Cadeau, 13 R.J. Davis, 11 Jalen Withers, and 10 for Armando Bacot. Other Tar Heels, Paxton Wojcik finished with 6 points, including 4 at the free throw line. Jalen Washington had 3 points. Zayden High had 2 points on a couple free throws. Trimble and Okonkwo both played but did not score. Trimble actually started this game and played 12 minutes but did not score in this one, did not attempt a field goal in the game in this one. As far as Northern Iowa is concerned, it was Heiss leading the scoring with 14. Hudson had 10, including 6 made free throws. Anderson had 7 points. He did have 10 rebounds for the Panthers. All adds up to an impressive second half in particular, of course, but Carolina against a solid Northern Iowa team runs away with it 91-69. Just a couple deeper slots into the box score before we take this next break. Carolina continued to use its depth very well. Had 9 players who played 12 minutes or more, and 37 bench points in this one for Carolina in comparison to 22 for Northern Iowa. The Panthers did have more points in the paint, 28-20, but of course Carolina hit all those threes in the second half. Heels 8-0 in fast break points. Carolina also had 9 blocks, and that's something we've seen here early in the season from Carolina. They've protected the rim well between Bacot and Ingram. Jalen Washington had a couple blocks. Jalen Withers has done a nice job protecting the rim. He's bigger than you might think at 6'9". So all in all, Carolina gets the win over Northern Iowa 91-69 on strength of its best half of the season, that second half in the Bahamas. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We'll go through some more numbers from this one. Talk to Dave a little bit at Gameside. Soon we're going to hear from Coach Davis and Jalen Withers as well. But hang tight. Tar Heels win it 91-69. Couple reminders. This is the Coke postgame report. They say Coke Zero is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Well, you'll have to find out for yourself. Also, here really the entire Thanksgiving campaign. Certainly today, if you've been hanging out watching the game, if you've had any alcohol as part of your game day activities, make sure you don't drive the rest of the day. There are more ways to get home safely. You can call a friend, take a cab, hop on the bus. There's a million apps you can use now to get a ride as well. No need to drink and drive. That's from the Governor Highway Safety Program and all of us on the Tar Heel Sports Network. All right, we're going to take a commercial break, come back, more to do on the Coke postgame report. Tar Heels put up 56 points in the second half and win it 91-69 over UNI from Learfield.
This is Carolina Basketball. Our post-game coverage continues with the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. Ford F-150, what legends are made of. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. This is the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show.
It is indeed the Coke postgame report and the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show following Carolina's 91-69 victory over Northern Iowa. We have our Tar Heel Sports Network team spread out, even going to the islands this week, as Dave Nathan and Adam Lucas are in the Bahamas. They'll have the play-by-play coverage for you. Of course, they just had it done, and great job by those guys. And we'll be with you tomorrow at 2:30 as the Tar Heels face either Villanova or Texas Tech in the winner's bracket of the Battle for Atlantis. And they'll also be with you on Friday. Then me, Jones Angel, I'll be with you on Saturday in Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh. Tar Heel football wrapping up the regular season with its annual rivalry matchup with NC State. So 4 straight games here over the Thanksgiving holiday, 4 straight days with 4 straight games. So looking forward to bringing you a bunch of Carolina action and a fun way to get started. At least fun in the second half. First half, maybe not as fun. Tar Heels were down at the half, 41-35, but then put together an impressive second half. 56-28, the score in the second half. It adds up to a 91-69 Carolina victory today. Soon we're going to have the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Adam's going to talk to Coach Davis. Adam's going to talk to Jalen Withers. Dave Nathan's still on site in the Bahamas. And let's talk a little defense. Carolina had another impressive night defensively. And I know you can say, how does that even work? Northern Iowa shot 60% in the first half. And Northern Iowa did shoot well, particularly that back 10 minutes of the first half. But, man, it seemed like Carolina was active today defensively. And that's where we find our iTicket.law defensive highlight of the game. When you find yourself in need of legal defense for a traffic violation, iTicket.law can be hired to defend you 24 hours a day. Born in Chapel Hill with traffic attorneys statewide. Visit iTicket.law to learn more. And Dave from the Bahamas, Jones, I'm here in our Tar Heel Sports Network studios. Dave, the defense today, really, it was the turnovers. And Northern Iowa had 17 of them. It's the second straight game that a Tar Heel opponent has had 17 turnovers. UC Riverside did as well on Friday. And it didn't feel like, there were a couple, but it didn't feel like these were, just sloppy passes or Northern Iowa being lazy. These were turnovers that Carolina forced, and whether it was shot clock violations, whether it was stripping the ball on a drive, whatever it might be. Gosh, Carolina, even when Northern Iowa shot well in the first half, Carolina was really active defensively all night.
Yeah, it's a great point. We just keep getting back to how difficult that first half was based on score, with Carolina down by as many as 8 on 2 occasions and trailing by 6 at the half. But early on, even when Carolina was down, it felt like they were the aggressors defensively with the 3 shot clock violations before we hit the halftime break. And that's not just one guy erasing a mistake or doing something to stand out. That was all 5 guys on the floor. And for Coach Davis, we talked about it throughout the course of the game. It's the first time in 3 years where he seems like he's felt comfortable to bring guys off the bench. It wasn't just the starting 5. It was guys like Jalen Washington and Zayden High and Elliot Cadeau and Jalen Withers certainly in a good stretch there during the second half. This was a total team effort defensively as Carolina goes on to win 91-69.
One thing, Dave, that's been interesting here early in the season is that Carolina's done a good job protecting the rim. I mentioned that a moment ago. They were averaging through the first 3 games. Now, granted, 3 games that the Tar Heels had a significant size advantage in against Radford, Lehigh, and UC Riverside. The Tar Heels were averaging better than 5 blocks per game in those 3 games. And that average is going to go up because they had 9 of them today. Cormac Ryan had 3 blocks for Baycott as well. Cadeau had a block. Jalen Washington had a block, as did Jalen Withers. I don't know if Carolina's going to block 9 shots a game, but they've done a good job protecting the rim, and they have, maybe they don't have a 7-footer down there. I don't know. Armando's listed at 6'11", perhaps generously. But they have a lot of guys with length that do a good job altering those shots at the rim.
Oh, there's no question. And again, I don't think today was an outlier because in the previous game against UC Riverside, Carolina blocked 8 shots. And You talk about it so much during the football broadcast, Jones. Sudden change type of plays. Those blocks, I thought, were a big reason why Carolina outscored UNI on the break 8-0.
Yeah.
You get the ball off the glass, you get it and go. And this is the kind of Carolina basketball that I think we've all become accustomed to.
And Carolina wins it again, 91-69. We're waiting for Adams. Going to talk to Coach Davis inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Going to take another break here in just a second. Don't forget, by the way, we've got our Old Dominion Best in the Game feature coming up. That's our player of the game. A lot of different choices today. Harrison Ingram with a double-double. Cormac Ryan got hot in the second half, poured in 15. Jalen Withers felt like he was important today, just doing a bunch of different things to help Carolina win 91-69 in that second half, 58-26. Carolina with the blitz there. I think it's worth noting again, I think I've said this once already, Carolina was getting good shots in the first half, and that's why even though the Tar Heels were down 41-35 at halftime, it didn't feel like it was quite time to hit the panic button. The Tar Heels were getting some good looks, and then some of those good looks started going in the second half. Carolina outscored Northern Iowa 34-6 in the first 10 minutes. And you look at that, you had a Ryan three-pointer, an Ingram three-pointer, back-to-back Cormac Ryan three-pointers within 34 seconds of each other. Ingram with another three. Ingram hit a third three in that stretch. Then R.J. Davis hit back-to-back three-pointers within about 25 seconds of one another. So all of it just kind of started snowballing from the shooting perspective for Carolina and ended up in that big win. Carolina 91-69. All right, we're going to take a timeout, come back. Hope to hear from Coach Davis soon. Also, we'll talk to Jalen Withers and more. It's the Coke Postgame Report and the Carolina Ford Dealers wrap-up show after the Heels win it by 22 from Learfield. Hey there, Coach Postgame Report. Carolina wins at 91-69. Jones Angel back in our Tar Heel Sports Network studios. We have our Tar Heel Sports Network team spread out here for the Thanksgiving holiday. Dave Nathan, Adam Lucas in the Bahamas, where Carolina moves on in the battle for Atlantis. Third time the Heels have been in this event, just the second time that they've won their opening game. They lost in the first game of the 2013-14 season, losing in the first game that year to Butler. Eventually, Tar Heels won back-to-back games after that, leaving the event in fifth place. Then last time they were there was 2020, the 1920 season. Of course, turned out to be a tough year for Carolina. Tar Heels won their opening game in that particular event, then lost to Michigan before topping Oregon in the consolation game that season. Heels looking to move on to the title game tomorrow. They'll have to beat a good Villanova or good Texas Tech team. Those teams have just gotten underway. In fact, just a mini look at the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Just going to go through a couple because there's some games getting going now. Tennessee and Kansas in that third place game in the Maui Invitational being played in Honolulu this year due to the fires in Maui a few months ago. That one is 8-4. Kansas on top of Tennessee early in that one. Of course, Carolina will see Tennessee coming up later this month. That's just a week from now. They'll host Tennessee in at the Smith Center as part of the first ever ACC SEC Challenge. And Carolina goes against Kansas next year. They've signed a home and home with the Jayhawks. So they're going to Lawrence, Kansas next year, and then Kansas will be in Chapel Hill the season following that. Villanova, Texas Tech are underway in the next game in the battle for Atlantis. That one's just moving 5-5. Texas Tech and Villanova knotted up. And there is one other ACC team playing right now in what will be a busy day in the ACC and across the top 25. Boston College is in action and is currently trailing in its matchup against Colorado State. 58-46 the score in that one a couple minutes into the second half. And let's see. Couple reminders. The Coke Postgame Report. They say Coke Zero is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Find out for yourself and try one today. And the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show, brought to you by the Carolina Ford Dealers. Boldness, strength, a spirit of adventure, the Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport. That's what legends are made of. See your Carolina Ford dealer, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Tar Heels win it 91-69 today on the strength of an incredibly well-played second half. Of course, the ball went in a bunch more, 17 of 34 shooting, 9 of 13 from three-point range, 13 of 15 from the free throw line. Exciting news. I believe we've talked to Hubert Davis. We're going to try and get to that when we come back here on the Coke Postgame Report. I tell you what, before we go to that break, let's give you the Old Dominion Player of the Game. It's our Best in the Game feature, brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line. Old Dominion Freight Line works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. And let's go to a gentleman who had his first double-double as a Tar Heel. That's Harrison Ingram, finished with 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists in this one. Harrison just 5 of 12 from the field, but 4 of 6 from three-point range. Also made a couple free throws as well in a team-high tying 31 minutes of action today. So Harrison Ingram, for the first time this season, I'm going to guess won't be the last, named the Old Dominion Best in the Game, Player of the Game, after Carolina wins it 91-69. More to do, including, we think, talking to Coach Davis when we return. Tar Heels win by 22. 91-69, the final. Carolina wins. Guys, buckle up. We've finally got the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires for a dealer near you. Go to ContinentalTire.com. Adam Lucas, I think he went and jumped in the pool or something here in Atlantis to record this interview with Coach Davis just a few minutes ago. Let's listen in. Here's Adam with Coach Davis after Carolina wins it 91-69.
Alongside Hubert Davis in the Continental Tire Coach's Corner after Carolina beats Northern Iowa. Coach, two very different halves. What was your message at halftime that produced that effort in the final 20 minutes?
Well, I got into them pretty good at halftime because I just, I wanted them to respond to Northern Iowa and the way that they were playing. I just felt like Northern Iowa in the first half looked like the more physical, the more confident team out there. And, I just said to guys, we just got to change. Northern Iowa shot 60% from the field in the first half. That's hard to do by yourself with no one guarding you. And so I thought we stepped it up defensively in the second half, which led to us rebounding the basketball and then allowed us to run in transition. And it always helps when you knock down some perimeter jumpers.
Some of those jumpers being knocked down by Cormac Ryan. You're a guy who knows a lot about shooting. He's a good shooter, but he hasn't been making them to this point. What has been your message to him to get him to the point where he was able to be successful today?
You know what? There has been no message. Cormac is a great shooter, and there are times that you're going to make them and times that you're not. I say this about everybody on this team, but specifically about Cormac. He's a basketball player. He is not just a shooter. He brings so much to this team on both ends of the floor. One of them is his ability to shoot. And so I think it's going in every time he shoots it. And I knew eventually it would start to go in, and it picked the perfect time in the second half.
4 shot clock violations for your defense today. They forced from Northern Iowa. Felt like your versatility and your depth really bothered them. What did you like about the way you used everybody and the way they defended?
Yeah, we did. Just with this group, we have versatility that we can defend a number of different ways where, we're switching DHOs and ball screens. We're picking up full court. We're trapping. We're getting steals and deflections. And I thought that's something that, we wanted to improve on from last year to this year, is just to get more deflections and more steals. And I think we ended up with 17 steals tonight, which was really good for us defensively.
You always say you can't guarantee when the opportunity is coming, but you can guarantee that the opportunity is coming. Yeah. Jalen Withers was talking after the game about how he appreciated the opportunity he got. What do you like about the way multiple guys this year have taken advantage of opportunities in similar situations?
Well, I always tell them that, it is. It's, their job and their responsibility is when that opportunity comes that you got to be ready. And all of our guys have responded in that way. And that's life. You don't know when you're going to get it, where, how, in the manner in which you're going to get that chance. But when you get it, you got to be ready. And Jay Witt really stepped up today.
That's the voice of Hubert Davis after Carolina beats Northern Iowa. Coach, thank you. That's the Continental Tire Coach's Corner.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Coach. And the Tar Heels win it 91-69. 71-69. Let's take a break. Come back. You're going to hear Adam talk with Jalen Withers. You'll hear that interview when we return to the Coke postgame report and the Carolina Ford Dealers wrap-up show. Heels now 4-0, moving on in the battle for Atlantis from Learfield.
Carolina Basketball has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Take a taste. And by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show.
Carolina wins 91-69, getting close to the end here of our Coke postgame report and Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. And let's listen in. Adam Lucas had a chance to catch up with Jalen Withers a few moments ago. Jalen, one of 6 Tar Heels in double figures today. First time I had said since the 22 season. It was actually the year before that, the COVID year, Coach Williams last season, that Carolina had 6 in double figures. It was at Duke, February 6th of 2021. So it's been a long time since the Heels had 6 in double figures. And Jalen Withers, one of those 6, he finished with 11 points today. And a few minutes ago, spoke with Adam Lucas.
Alongside Jalen Withers after Carolina opens the battle for Atlantis with a win over Northern Iowa. Story of 2 halves there. Tar Heels go into the break trailing. What was the message at halftime from Hubert Davis? What do you want to see different in the second half?
What he told us was that we were playing like a bunch of scared kids. Like, team wasn't better than us. We were the more physical team, more athletic team, more dominant team, and we just had to play like that. And I think that, like, more or less, that's what his message really was to us. And the second half, that's what we did.
And to achieve that less scared outlook, he put you in the starting lineup for the second half. What do you think he wanted from you specifically, and what did you give the Tar Heels as they started the second half so much better than in the first half?
I think that it added to our length by putting Harry at the 3 and then me at the 4. That also helped our rebounding, and I think that it allowed me to showcase the versatility with the core group. I mean, on the defensive end, 1 through 4, we're pretty good at switching. And then the 5, me and Mondo are capable of guarding 1, so I think that it showed the versatility with that lineup.
Northern Iowa is a team with so many shooters all over the floor. How are you able to use that versatility you're just talking about to make sure they didn't get a ton of open looks, especially from 3?
I would say one thing that he's really been big on us about is emergency closeouts. So, like, everybody on their team was more or less a green light guy besides maybe a couple of players, and we had to close out with urgency and force them off the line, make them tough twos, and that's what we did.
You were a 42% three-point shooter at Louisville last year, but had not attempted one until today. The very first one you take goes in.
Yes, sir.
When Jalen Withers is at his best, what are we going to see from him offensively?
Offensively, it can be put-back dunks, catch-and-shoot threes, off-the-dribble pull-ups, crafty finishes, a little bit of everything. I'm extremely versatile, so I think that me at my best on offense would really just showcase that.
Hubert Davis has bragged on the ball movement with this group. There was one sequence where you had the ball in the post, threw it cross-court to Cormac Ryan on the wing, who then fed Mondo for an easy basket underneath. What creates that kind of unselfishness and ball movement?
I would say the will to win. We all want to win. We all want to, don't get me wrong, we all want to score. We all want to, make the great play. But I think that unselfishness comes from us being, older. And us wanting to win, that's the most important thing in the game.
Have to play 3 games in 3 days here, no matter what, here at the Battle for Atlantis. From a player's perspective, what's the most challenging part of getting your body ready to play at a high level 3 days in a row?
Most challenging part is probably the recovery time. I believe we have the earliest games on those 3 days, so it's going to be a big recovery day for the rest of the day for us.
That's Jalen Withers after 11 points helps Carolina beat Northern Iowa. The Tar Heels on to the Battle for Atlantis semifinals. Jalen, thank you.